Comic Timing is member supported by listeners like you over at patreon.com/comic timing. We thank you so much for every little bit that you throw our way. For as little as $1 a month, you continue to allow us to release this show. You pay for the server costs, you pay for the website costs, and you pay for our ability to pay for the DC and Marvel apps that we use to read the books. And we thank you very much for your continued support over at patreon.com/comic timing. Hey there, folks. My name's Ian Levinstein, and welcome to episode 234 of Comic Timing. Back here for another previews, and hey, guess what? It's not the 30th. How about that? Last 2 months we've just been barely squeaking by, and now you got a solid about 9 or 10 days worth of time to get that order in. So how about that, Apples?
How about that, indeed?
Mm-hmm. And how about the return of Mr. Murdo for this episode, Adam?
Hello.
Hello. In turkey spirit?
Am I in the what spirit?
Are you in the turkey spirit? Where the spirit of gobble gobble is upon us. We're getting pretty close.
Oh, Manu gobble hum. Yep.
Oh, that was outstanding. I appreciate that. And Raph Suhu joining us here from the beginning of an episode. How about them?
Look at that! I'm actually here at the beginning and not halfway through, rushing home.
Yep.
Trying to get here in time.
Happy to have you, and happy to have previews with us once again for books mainly set for release next year. We have officially reached, if words can get out of my mouth, the January 2025 solicitations. DC Connect issue 54, Image's January catalog, the previews issue 434, and Marvel's issue 38 for their book as well. Can't believe we're already talking about 2025. This year has gone by super, super fast in a lot of ways. And yeah, let's hope 2025 doesn't kill us all. All right, moving forward.
Amen and amen.
Yes, most definitely. It will not kill us in the form of comic books. There will certainly be good things to read. And we begin, of course, as we tend to do, with the Image catalog for this particular time. And Charles Soule has himself a brand spanking new book on page 4, The Lucky Devils, number 1 of 9. Artwork by Ryan Brown to go along with this. It's described as Good Omens meets Curse Words. That is quite literally the opposite of each other. So go figure.
Shit.
In this new series from the duo behind smash hit 8 Billion Genies, which indeed was a smash hit. That was one of the biggest comics in recent memory for Image and for Charles Soule. So this brings together the story of two people who begin working with the devils on their shoulders in an effort to fix their broken lives. Predictably, it all goes to hell.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, quite literally working with the the angel and the devil. Only there ain't no angel this time around, and bad things are gonna happen. It's like an interesting premise here. And Charles
I love
Soule.
the designs of those titular devils there.
Yes, indeed. Yep. Very creepy and weirdly puppety, but in a good way. Like it kind of reminds me a little bit of the puppets from Angel, like the like
Smile Time.
Yeah, exactly. The Smile Time episode. That's the general motif I get from this.
Yep, and equally demonic.
Also, the artwork has a Gary Frank flair to it in a very positive route as well, facial expression wise and whatnot. Check that out on page 4, and then we get Rick Remender's new book, The Seasons. Summer, winter, spring, and autumn are the Seasons sisters, the daughters of the world-renowned Seasons detectives. 10 years ago, their famous parents disappeared. Left to raise themselves, the sisters formed an unbreakable bond. Now that bond is tested as the sisters fall prey to sinister forces. The youngest sister, Spring, is the last hope of saving them from a fate worse than death. Fascinating concept. Remender always in there with the weird and the strange, and this is a detective work from Remender, which frankly I don't really think we've gotten that much of from Remender. If I think about it, it's usually more on the supernatural end or the horror end. So
A little bit of sci-fi every now and then.
that's true.
Sounds like this is going to contain elements of that too.
Yeah, horror detective. Let's put it that way. Yeah, and the artwork certainly goes that way.
Yeah, I love the look of the art. And the first issue's 48 pages for the price of a 32-pager.
I like the sounds of that.
You can afford to give it a try.
Yeah, I think this is in my just finished DCPS order.
Nice. Well, this is on page 6, and as stated, 48 pages for $3.99. Not bad at all.
Ah,
There you go.
Michel Fif's Copra is back. A new chapter in the kinetic addictive superhero series that pays homage to the 80s Suicide Squad run of John Ostrander, Kim Yale, and Luke McDonnell. Yes, it certainly does. Yep, it's highly psychedelicized. It's like a fever dream of old back issues of 80s Suicide Squad, but mixing in random Marvel characters like analogs of the Punisher and Doctor Strange and so forth along the way.
There's a Wolverine clone there in one of the covers.
Yep. Yeah, definitely going for that bent there with cover E. But yeah, you've praised this tons of times to me, Murd, and the style of it all, the essence, it drips 80s in all the right ways. Absolutely.
Yeah. Taking the idea of the Suicide Squad in extreme directions that the actual Suicide Squad never got the chance to go back in its heyday.
Absolutely. Find that on page 8, and then a nice preview page there on page 9 to go along with it. This one has me interested. No Home Here, number 1. Daniel Enriquez on the story, Jonathan Glapion on the artwork. This is the story of Shirley Johnson, 7-year-old victim of the infamous serial killer Billy Kincaid. This is a new chapter in the Spawn universe, very different chapter in the Spawn universe that explores the fate of the innocent young girl. Her harrowing adventures with the stranger are laid bare as her story and the world she now inhabits are revealed. Fascinating concept here. Very, again, a very unique side of the Spawn universe that's not exactly going very, very superhero in this route. Nor
Love
is
the art.
it's gorgeous, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's painterly and almost watercolory. While we're at it, really, really good stuff to go along with it. Page 10 there. And now, Bird, back to you.
I am thrilled to see this in Images Solicitations this month. Picking up where Eric Shanower and Scotty Young left off at Marvel, we've got an adaptation of the next of L. Frank Baum's Oz stories after the one that was supposed to be the last one, The Emerald City of Oz. That's where Shanower and Young left off. And now up steps Otis Frampton, creator of Oddly Normal, which is a series also from Image about a middle school aged girl who's half witch or something like that. And it's got gentle whimsy to it, and I honestly prefer his art style to Scotty Young's. It's the Patchwork Girl of Oz, number 1. Presumably it's a miniseries, adapting the original novel by L. Frank Baum. We can see the title character Scraps the Patchwork Girl there, along with her buddies Ojo and Bungle the Glass Cat, with her little pink cotton ball brains that you can actually see work. Yeah, this was a favorite of mine. I mean, of Baum's Oz books, I think I reread this one more times than most, because Scraps is a really fun character.
The artwork itself has very much of a like mid-2000s Disney Channel vibe in a positive way, like a very specific era of animated series.
Yeah,
Like
I see what you're saying.
Right.
And
So it would have been on alongside like American Dragon Jake Long, for example.
you got it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I would have watched the hell out of a Disney Channel adaptation of The Patchwork Girl of Oz.
Of course.
I would have watched any adaptation of The Patchwork Girl of Oz, I think. And it helps that this one in comic book form looks extremely readable and put on by somebody who knows what he's doing. So I'm probably going to wait until I can have it in just a single collected volume.
Oh, sure.
Just to put it alongside the ones I have of the Shannon and Young adaptations. But I'm very happy that somebody is taking the adaptation into comics of Baum's later works a little bit further into the oeuvre.
Yeah, I certainly hope that this means that those others will be recollected and resolicited, if not by Image, then elsewhere, to try to go along with that for anybody who may have missed out on it the first time around. But yeah, very happy to see this on page 12, and we'll see how many issues this winds up being in the long run. Bernard Chang has some new artwork, along with Adam Glass on the story. Blood Train. Stand clear of the closing doors, please. 20. Thank you, Raph. I was waiting for that.
Of course.
28 days later meets The Ruins in this high-stakes standalone horror story. Yeah, horror ain't done. It may be after Christmas, but we've still got plenty of horror to be had here, because it was a very horrifying Christmas last month. We were talking about previews, and horror's still big.
It's one of those long Halloweens you hear about.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
which we'll probably get to later.
Yes, I can understand it. After backpacking through Asia, a group of friends climb aboard the Siberian Express to start their journey home. Little do they know, they've bought a one-way ticket to hell, as one of them has been infected with a bioweapon that will turn them into a monster who will slaughter everyone on the train. You know, like you do. It's just like being stuck in rush hour traffic in New York. You know, you never know when someone's just going to have, some sort of virus that's going to turn them evil and try to destroy everybody on the train. So, go figure.
Oh, yeah. My train got stopped because some guy turned into like a murderous like werewolf, and then that took like 20 minutes on my ride. I was so annoyed.
I was wondering why my train went express, and now that just makes
exactly. It's the skip the station. It's so annoying.
Yeah. Well, page 14 for Blood Train, and again, artwork by Bernard Chang, so I'm sure it's going to be damn well defined. Just creepy horror right there for you. All right, Vita Ayala, The Horizon Experiment, Finders Keepers. This is by Vita Ayala and Skywar Partridge. They are reuniting for a new type of action-adventure tale, following a Puerto Rican reverse Indiana Jones, a thief stealing from museums to return artifacts back to their native cultures. Love this concept, love this premise. This sounds right up my alley.
Yeah. This is going to be cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't wait for the sequel, Losers Weepers.
I'm sure that's probably in the pipeline. You wait long enough. It'll happen.
I hope so. This is a too good a concept to let them let it slide.
I'm just glad that her name isn't Jones, Indiana, because that would have been too on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
her name is Anaidni Senaj.
Anaidni Senaj. Go figure. Well, page 15 here, once again, has the Horizon Experiment, Finders Keepers. Yeah, check it out. I will definitely be paying attention to it. Part of the Horizon Experiment. On we go into the single issues. Another issue of Ice Cream Man for everybody. Page
I'll take a vanilla cone with sprinkles.
Don't think you're going to find that, but you are going to find one-page horror yarns from Grant Morrison, Patton Oswalt, Jeff Johns, Kelly Sue DeConnick, Jeff Lemire, Matt Fraction, Zoe Thorogood, and others in this one.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice guest issue of Ice Cream Man. Looking forward to that. Page 17. And, Mr. Chaikin brings us the Black Kiss Omnibus, collecting all 12 issues of his Black Kiss in one collection on page 19, if you were waiting for that. And the best named collection in the Image catalog, the Chew Nomnibus, because nom nom nom.
I almost got this. I almost bought this.
Yeah.
So DCBS is offering a book plate with the two, which
Oh,
is
wow.
signed by both the. That's why I almost got it. But I have both. I have them in single issue and trade paperback,
Yeah.
and I don't need to have it a third way.
I never finished Chew, and I need to go back and do that, and then read the sequel series as well. But
Oh shit! I didn't finish Chew either. I am on issue 58 of 60.
I'm pretty sure
I'm just remembering this.
pretty sure I'm at like 50 or 51 myself, to be honest with you. But I want to point out 60 issues all in one package here, 1,320 pages of content, and it's only $64.99.
Yeah, that's maybe I'll put it back on my order
That is not bad.
because I
Like,
don't want to have to dig for all the books. That's the thing.
I know, yeah.
It's actually really good, and I'll just sell the issues, and I'll sell the. Maybe I won't sell the trade. I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
I've been considering going back to the library to finich my my Chew reading. Honestly, just to finally knock that out. So
I love this series enough that I want to own it. So
fair enough.
I say that I actually do.
You do.
Because it used to be I would say that about every single series I've ever read, and now I'm a little more discerning.
Good for you.
In my old age.
Good for you. Good for you. Especially as we're reading through an entire previews catalog. You can't love everything. So good for you. Good for you.
Not spending $350 a month on previews. Not that I ever did.
Probably a good idea in general not to do that. But unless your name is Bob Braytall, that is. Bob, love you. Page here, the Chew Nomnibus, all 60 issues for only $64.99.
Let me clarify. I'm not saying I don't love Bob. I'm saying I don't have Bob's resources. I do love Bob. Bob is great.
Yep, we are unanimous there. But
have his resources.
Bob
he's spending that
can
much on
afford
books.
to buy everything out of this catalog better than any of us can.
Absolutely.
Right, exactly.
We have never been on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Bob Braytall has. So let's remind ourselves of that.
Yes.
Yes. Criminal resolicited here as well for the Chris Eberleys in the crowd. Volume 1 and Volume 2 get themselves new printings on page 21, the classic by Brubaker and Phillips.
I think I have those too. I have the Marvel versions.
I actually have on my shelf the Criminal oversized. Remember the Amazon glitch sale from back?
Yeah. I think that's how I might have them too then.
That I remember. I think I only paid like $8 for it or something.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
I have a lot.
Yeah. Jerry Duggan's Falling in Love on the Path to Hell, Volume 1 here on page 22, collects all 4 issues of Duggan's latest series. And then, of course, Killer Be Killed Compendium. Brubaker and Phillips' Killer Be Killed, collected here in a gorgeous trade paperback. 576 pages here for $59.99 on page 23. And then Jeff Lemire's Fish Flies in hardcover format on page 24. This is something that I'm going to be picking up. I wanted to check out the Power Fantasy, and now here it is in its first volume trade paperback. It is a classic Image Comics $9.99 Volume 1, which is an excellent way to get you to buy a Volume 1, and this is 136 pages at that. Kieran Gillen and Casper Wingard's The Power Fantasy Volume 1 on page 25. Collects the first 5 issues of that series.
That's in my order.
Yeah, I got to pick this up. Absolutely. Yep. Also, love the use of the power symbol in the actual cover. Good times there.
Just be careful handling a book.
Yes. You might get electrocuted. Astro City Metro Book, Volume 6. BUCX Volume 3, issues 35 to 52, collected here in this Astro City Metro Book edition on page 27. For anybody who didn't pick it up the first time, here's yet another way of picking it up. All right. Moving down a little bit more. New edition of Invincible Volume 7. Collects Invincibles 35 to 41. If you would like a smaller size version of Invincible to work with, that's the way to do it.
6 inches by 9 inches.
Indeed. And Radiant Black Volume 6, the trade paperback, on page 30. And let's go down a little bit more here into the rest of the ongoings.
Wait, did they say something about sale on that ad page?
Let's see.
Go back up to that massive trade paperback thing.
Yeah.
A little further up.
Hmm. Oh.
Backlist sale.
Yes. So as part of the end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025, Image Comics is indeed doing a backlist sale of a bunch of their trade paperbacks. So they're not saying what the sale is going to be, but a large swath of Image trade paperbacks are listed on these 2 pages before page 34. So that would be 32 and 33.
If only I still worked at Diamond.
Yeah. Casanova is included in this list.
I'd be getting huge boxes of orders, and these would all be in them.
Well, check it out if you're missing some stuff and want to try to fill some holes. I want to point out too that Deadeye's Empty Frames issue 5 Daredevil homage there. That is really, really pretty. The Deadeye's the Empty Frames. John McCrae working with that.
Oh, that means the trade's coming out soon.
Mm-hmm. Page 35. G.I. Joe issue 3 and G.I. Joe Real American Hero 313 on page 38. So you get two types of Joe.
I think I'm going to check out the Energon Universe one because I've read a little bit of Transformers. I actually have to find them again to finish reading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually on a bunch of my Christmas lists to get Transformers Volume 1 because I need that Dan Warren Johnson story in my life. Absolutely.
I mean, I have the issues are in a box together, but I don't know if I mentioned this on the actual recording, but I got my complete comic collection with me now, so I do indeed have 75 short boxes worth of comics from 27 years of collecting.
Boy, oh boy.
It's a lot.
And somewhere you have room for a bed.
Oh, no, the bedroom's is actually kind of empty. It's the other room.
Okay.
The bedroom's actually I could add stuff in. I don't have anything in there right now. No TV or anything, just the bed and the furniture.
All right.
It's very not lived in.
I will point out I was correct, by the way, that Saga now goes on hiatus because they finished their latest storyline. So
we are now on Saga Watch.
Yes, we are back on Saga Watch. Saga Watch 2025. And Snot Girl continues with its issue 17. Last month we discussed the return of Snot Girl, and Snot Girl continues to be returning with its 17th issue on page 49.
That started while I was still at Midtown the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a decade.
I know.
That's dedication. You know what? That's dedication. He came back to it, so good for him.
Riley O'Malley had the urge, and he went back with it.
Yeah, not everyone does that. Sometimes people abandon projects never to be touched again.
Happens all the time.
I'm sorry, Batman and Robin. I'm sorry, what?
Yes, that one. page 52, by the way, I will point out not only that it's page 52, but Transformers number 16, Autobots versus Decepticons versus spoiler. We don't know who, but someone else is involved.
Yeah, we do. Stephanie Brown.
Yes, that's not who they're talking about.
That's the spoiler.
Yes. A different one. We don't know.
What?
Maybe
multiverse spoiler? Okay.
Well, the question is it another, breed of Transformer? Are we talking Dinobots here, or are we talking maybe this is G.I. Joe that they're facing?
We finally get the big crossover.
Yeah. Who the heck knows? We shall find out.
It's Visionaries.
I knew it.
Nah. No, the universe doesn't love me that much.
Well, they do love you enough to be done with the image catalog, and now we move ourselves on to the main book, and there's tons of good stuff to talk
I didn't even look at the toys this month. I have to do that. We'll skim them real quick.
Well, I have a feeling we're going to wind up skimming in one way or the other when we get there. So
yeah.
Our first reminder: Free Comic Book Day will be taking place on May 3rd, as usual, in 2025. So mark that on your calendars, and we will start seeing some solicitations for Free Comic Book Day books probably as early as next month. So pay attention, and you will find out what books you want to pick up when you go to your store. Gotta love the name of this title. When I Lay My Vengeance Upon Thee. Number 1 of 5.
I feel like Samuel L. Jackson somewhere just perked his ears up.
That's fair enough. Been saying that shit for years.
Damn right. Gus Moreno, Jacob Rebelka, the writing and art chores here.
It's the tale of a disgraced priest who is basically exiled to a remote South American town to learn the art of exorcism under the tutelage of a guy named Father Stygian. And they encounter all kinds of supernatural and demonic threats with a Southern Hemisphere flair.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sounds fascinating and nice and blasphemous. So, page 34 there for your When I Lay My Vengeance Upon Thee, number 1 of 5. That will be a 5-issue mini. Great artwork to go along with it on the following pages. Nice and bleak, I'd say. Simplistic and bleak. And Minor Arcana, Volume 1. Jeff Lemire written and drawn. Minor Arcana gets its first 5 issues collected into a trade on page 39.
I remember we talked about the first issue. Wow, where'd the time go?
I know, yeah. Tell me about it. But here it is for everybody in the new year. This one is an advanced solicit, as are most trades. So this one will not be coming to stores until March of 2025. 144 pages for the pre-discount price of $17.99 on page 39. This I will check out at some point. Power Rangers Prime.
I'm whiffing.
Well, I heard about some stuff that got revealed in this book, and I have some words for you, Raph, that may have you interested when you do whiffed and you do get to it. We are VR.
Get out of here! Really?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm a little more excited. Maybe. Wow. Okay. So that means the first issue came out this month. So if I really wanted to, I could go to a store and read it there.
Yeah.
I could go to Forbidden.
VR troopers are going to be a part of this Prime universe in one form or another. So that's just bring on the superhuman samurai cyber squad, and then we've got a full house. Like that's all we need.
And well, no, the true crossover begins when we start the first issue with the massacre of the big bad Beetleborgs.
Oh God.
and Blue Jay Leno is like crawling through the dirt and mud looking at the killer.
God.
And then he eventually gets shot. Because it's a deconstruction of these. Okay, I don't need to do this.
No.
We don't need to do this. It's
putting
fine.
the image back in my head of Blue Jay Leno. Like
Yes, see, even I remember the Blue Jay Leno from the Fox Kids promos back in the day.
Yes.
Oh my God.
The grim and gritty Sentai reboot that no one wanted.
Exactly. And guess what? It wasn't that grim, it wasn't that gritty, and it wasn't that good.
No.
Page 40 for that Power Rangers Prime issue 3 of 12. Do check that out. And a soft cover on the next page of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Across the Morphin Grid, featuring a wealth of creators and characters. This will include the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Usagi Yojimbo crossover, as well as Across the Morphin Grid number 1, and Power Rangers Infinity number 1 included in there as well. on page 42.
You know, that's an underrated Beatles song,
What?
Across the Morphin Grid.
Get out. Get out. Get out of the Zoom call. It's done. It's over.
See, sorry, I was see. You guys had a better previews episode last month. You didn't have this. You didn't have these interruptions with these bad puns.
Look, if you weren't going to do it, one of us was, and it was probably
That's very true.
Oh, that's fine. I'm just spreading we get to spread the wealth this time around. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about the hardcover here of Tom King and Peter Gross's Animal Pound? Mr. Eberly sung the praises of this in the past, and this collects all 5 issues of the Animal Pound adaptation in one hardcover collection. $30.
Yep, I want to read this story, and yet I don't.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like it's
Breaking. Yes.
yeah. You have to be ready for it in order to read it.
If it breaks Stephen King's heart, what chance do any of us have?
Very
It's
good.
very true.
Very good point. I will say, part of me almost wants to wait for a soft cover of this one as well, rather than a hardcover. Which I'm sure will come. It's just for now, the price tag is 5 issues, $30, 176 pages. Not terrible, but a soft cover will be cheaper. So
Yeah, I listen. I have a quarter of a Murd's backlog, so I'll get to it when I get to it.
Yes, the counting system known only as a Murd. Yes.
Listen, Murd, I've come to appreciate when back in the early days of CGS when you would talk about how far behind you were. I didn't quite understand it because I was the psychopath who read 200 comics a month, and now in my older age. In my wisdom and I don't work in comics anymore, and I'm very disconnected from everything, and I've had other things happen in life. I completely understand it, and I got to tell my younger self to it's going to happen to you too, even if you don't think it will.
Yep, just reach back in time and go upside your head.
Yeah, exactly. Like what? No, it happens to all of us. It'll come for you think you can handle reading 50, 100, 200 comics a month, and then it gets to you.
Eventually you wind up a quarter of a Murd, then half of a Murd, and eventually that's it.
I don't know if I could. I don't. How far is your backlog now, Murd?
Late 2007.
Okay, because I'm at 2017, so I'm maybe a third of Murd.
All right, okay. Third of Murd, I like that. If we had subtitles for these episodes, that would be it.
November Views, a third of Murd.
Third of Murd. Third hyphen Murd.
Meanwhile, page 44 has Hello Darkness number 7.
Friend.
Exactly. Garth Ennis, Maria Levitt, and James Tinian IV, along with illustrations by the one and only Becky Cloonan, Maria Levitt, and Werther Delidra on page 44 here. So, good stuff, good stories being told here. And this is the final installment, so there will be a trade to come of Hello Darkness. And there it is.
There it is.
Page on page 45.
It looked like it came to talk to you again.
Mm-hmm. Boom does not wait long. They do not. All right. Let's see anything else of note in this portion.
I've got something when we get to the
yes,
the rest of the indies.
Here we go. Something that I will definitely be picking up in trade, as the first issue was absolutely delightful. When we got to talk to Dave Wachter, it was great. And Uncanny Valley Volume 1 collects the first 6 issues of Tony Fleek's and Dave Wachter's Uncanny Valley in one package here on page 53. Well worth checking out if you have not before. So
it's about a boy who discovers that he is descended from cartoon characters.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Gets to explore the land of his ink and paint forefathers and gets into all kinds of harrowing adventures.
Indeed.
This is a Who Framed Roger Rabbit for the new generation.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The solicit says it, but it's also true.
It's probably conceptually closer to Cool World, but Who Framed Roger Rabbit will sell more copies.
Yes,
That's very true.
Most definitely, yeah. Well, on the echelon there, people remember Cool World, but they probably remember Who Framed Roger Rabbit just a little bit.
Incidentally, I've only seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and I haven't seen that in 35 years. I want to say 34 years. It's been a very long time. I don't remember most of that movie. I saw it at a very young age, and I never saw it again.
Part of me feels like I should sit myself down, watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and then watch the Chippendale movie from a couple years ago immediately afterwards. Like, I think that would be a good twofer. It's very, very good times and similar premise and idea.
Oh, yes. Definite thematic overlap, but Who Framed Roger Rabbit, still better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And then an alternate reality, the rights issue was resolved, and there's an entire Roger Rabbit land in Hollywood studios right now in Disney World. But was not to be, unfortunately. Came so close. Same with that Muppets world that would have happened had Henson not passed the way he did.
Speaking of Henson.
Speaking of Henson, Jim Henson Presents issue 2. Yep. And Jim Henson's Labyrinth issue 5, both there for you on page 54. We talked about issue 1 of Jim Henson Presents last month. And this continues that with a whole bunch of stories within multiple Jim Henson properties, all in one book for 40 pages and $6. Not bad. And the Dark Crystal Archives, available both in hardcover and softcover. Softcover only $9.99, hardcover $14.99. And this is a return of some old school movie adaptation of Dark Crystal in comic book. Thematically appropriate. Nicely done.
Yo fling.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these movie adaptations are coming back into print, and I applaud that. It's nice to see these available in this day and age in one form or another, whether it be with a new publisher or just back in print period.
Yo fling.
Yes. Want peace.
Page 55 for your 64-page adaptation right there. And then on the next page, we have Farscape Book 1, once again available in hardcover and softcover. Quite a whole bunch of Farscape comics in one package. Keith R.A. DiCandido on the writing chores with art by Tommy Patterson, Neil Edwards, and others.
Yep, some of it co-written by Rockne O'Bannon, who created Farscape.
Mm-hmm. That is correct. Yep. Good call. What were you going to say there, Raph?
Is there a Farscape was all it feels like these are all hitting at the same time. These are all like these Henson related properties.
Well, I mean, Archaea has the rights to so many of them that I feel like it's only.
Yeah, but they didn't always. Is there an anniversary or something that's why I was thinking, is there an anniversary? Because like it seems like, I mean, they've always had these licenses, yeah, but like they never put everything out at the same time like this.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Is there like some sort of anniversary I don't know about, or I'm not aware of, or I've forgotten?
Henson's next decade birthday isn't until 26, so it's not that.
Death
was 1990.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, it's been 34 years. Okay.
Yeah. I think it might just
maybe I'm just reading it too much.
No.
It's the 10-year anniversary of Archaea's acquisition of the rights. I don't know.
Oh, that might be it too.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Or they just really want to print shit, which is also possible.
That's also true.
Yeah. Actually, it's closer to 20. I'm pretty sure it was the 2000s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because that was pre-acquisition of Archaea.
Right. And Archaea was its own thing instead of a subsidiary of Boom.
Ah, Pepperidge Farm remembers.
All right. Moving down here a little bit more. We get to Fence Challengers Sweet 16 #1 by C.S. Pacat. This is a fencing, very much manga-style book that I just had to mention. on page 60 because it is so close to being a sports manga without being a manga. It hurts, and I appreciate that. They know what they're going for. This is the next thrilling installment of the GLAAD Media Award nominated Fence.
That's the thing is, if they're saying that, I'm getting that gives me an impression of Yuri on Ice, except fencing.
Oh, absolutely, most definitely. Yep, good call out there. And that's available on page 60 there, and a whole bunch of Fence volumes resolicited and available from Boom on page 63 as well. On we go to the world that I did not expect myself to be seeing anytime soon, but I should have because I'm sure Dynamite was going to get to it eventually. Hey, you guys remember Thundercats? Remember that there was also Silverhawks, which was just Thundercats, but not. That's exactly what we got here, baby.
I barely remember Silverhawks.
Okay. Further challenge, do either of you guys remember Tiger Sharks?
No, I do not remember Tiger Sharks.
I don't remember Tiger Sharks.
That was yet another second generation Thundercats ripoff from the same studio, Rankin Bass. It was part of an anthology show called Comic Strip, which also featured things like Street Frogs, which was about a bunch of breakdancing frogs, and Camp Minimon, which was summer camp for the children of well-known monsters.
Nice.
And I don't think I ever saw an episode of Silverhawks, but I did see Tiger Sharks a few times.
Now, Silverhawks has been on my mind lately because the show Solar Opposites introduced a group of space police known as the Silver Cops that most definitely take at least a little bit of their inspiration from Silverhawks. It's kind of like a meeting between Heralds of Galactus, the Green Lantern Corps, and Silverhawks all merged into one space police that are police in the most quotation of ways because they're doing it for the greater good. No, of course they're all corrupt, but that they draw the major inspiration from Silverhawks, and that's why it's been on my mind lately. But this Ed Brisson brings us a Silverhawks comic here for all four of you who watched it when Thundercats wasn't on back in the day. So that's it's here for you, and this will probably have a lot more story than the show did. I'll tell you that much.
I do love Ed Brisson. I don't know if I would. I could say the same about Silverhawks. I gotta be honest. I love Ed Brisson's work. I've read a lot of his previous work, but I maybe watched an episode of Silverhawks when I was like 4, and I vaguely remember it.
You also need to love Jay Lee's send up to himself as the cover B to this, as clearly, you know, he's homaging himself with the Inhumans cover from many years ago with this cover of Silverhawks. It was a lot more striking when it was the Inhumans, quite frankly.
Well, yeah.
But, yeah, they're back in POG form, available for you all. Do check it out on page 67. And if you want some words on why it's happening, they've got that covered for you in the next couple pages. Also, Mannix has a cover H, which is special. If I were to buy it, I probably would find cover H just because of how absolutely weird it is. But you never know. All right. And for something else making its way to comic books, Jeff Parker brings us Zootopia #1 on page 73. I was a huge fan of the Zootopia movie. There was a series of Zootopia shorts that aired on Disney Plus a couple of years ago that were very good, and we're going to be getting a sequel to Zootopia in the not too distant future as well. So of course it makes sense to have a comic book of it, and here we are with an excellent writer like Jeff Parker behind it, with Alessandro Rinaldi on the artwork chores. Page 73. Doing a good job of making these 3D characters still look like themselves in 2D artwork as well, which is a hard feat to master. And this is not CGI artwork. This is just good artwork, and I appreciate that. You know, the artwork available on page 76 for people to look at it too. Captures the appeal of Zootopia while definitely doing its own thing. Issue 3 of DuckTales.
Woo!
Thank you. There's going to be a dinosaur, and he's got jaws of steel. Page 79. And
I love this so much.
Yep, the Justice Ducks starring Darkwing Duck collection, both hardcover and trade paperback available. The Justice League International send-up cover.
What are you gonna do about it?
What are you going to do about it? Yep.
I believe the actual word bubble on the original cover was, "I hate this."
Yes.
Oh, okay. It's been so long, I don't even remember it.
Oh my God.
I've seen so many different versions of that cover. My brain is.
Well, no, I mean the original Darkwing Duck version. It's Darkwing.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I hate being a part of this team because my ego is huge.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That is very true of Darkwing.
First 5 issues of this sub-series of the Justice Ducks available for everybody in both hardcover and softcover on page 82. Excellent artwork. It's super duper fun. I may wind up purchasing this in one form or another at some point as well, just for my childhood's sake. But wait, there's even more amazing new stories coming in January from Dynamite. Just turn the page. Okay, I'll turn the page.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. And I got there, and I'm still gonna keep scrolling because that's not really anything for me. So yeah.
I wonder how much it cost Dynamite to pay for that page just telling you to continue to turn pages.
I know, right?
Yeah.
How about we just focus on this, which is much more interesting than the number one that they were trying to sell me. Kong the Great War trade paperback. Alex Cox, Tommaso Bianchi, great cover by Jay Lee and Jun Chung. Get some Kong comic book action here.
Mm-hmm. Circa World War One.
Mm-hmm.
So right after the first movie.
Yep. I got the final issue of this miniseries in my last DCBS shipment. It's at least a year late, probably closer to 2.
Oh boy!
But now they can finally collect the thing, and so they are doing.
Indeed. Yep. Well, I'm glad it finished, and I'm glad it's now available for anybody who was waiting for the collection in one form or another, and hopefully this will do well for them on page 90.
I might give it a shot. I've always been more of a Godzilla guy than a Kong one, but I don't. That's not to say I don't like Kong. It's just I prefer Godzilla.
Fair enough. Absolutely love this New Year's Powerpuff Girls cover on page 96. Great stuff for Powerpuff Girls issue 7, which is then solicited in full on page 97. And page 100. Yeah, we would definitely have to address this, and thank you for pointing it out, Raph.
Yeah.
The Dynamite art of John Cassaday in hardcover. John Cassaday did some amazing covers for Dynamite over the years. Oh my God,
he single-handedly sold me on buying the Lone Ranger series, which I ended up absolutely loving, regardless of whether he was doing covers or not.
Yeah, but those covers are just fantastic. And as well as the stuff he did for Zorro, the James Bond covers were great. So this is all collecting a bunch of his artwork that he did for Dynamite over the years on page 100. So if you're a fan of John Cassaday and you want to see his stuff in one collection, especially after his unfortunate passing, it's available for you there on page 100. And that will finish Dynamite for me.
It's not a new number 1 or anything, but I am still getting Terminator.
Oh yeah. No. How did you read the first issue?
I didn't get to it. It was in a box, and now that box is buried behind 80 other boxes. So I don't know how I'm going to get to it, but I will.
Fair enough. Issue 4 of Declan Shelby's Terminator available on page 105. So we are up to the 4th issue at this point, and we're in the year 1986, where the Cold War is at its height. So that's where we're sticking ourselves for now in the Terminator series. Whole bunch of back-in-time shenanigans as always. On we go to what is gracing the cover of this month's previews. Out of Titan, Lenore, The Time War by Roman Dirge, issue 1 of 3. The return of Lenore after many a year, now under the Titan imprint, as Lenore faces off against the legendary Time Goats in the Goat Fight of the Century. Certainly something right
Wow.
there. Yep.
Hot Topic staple Lenore along with the Giant Homicidal Maniac.
Mhm.
I remember those days.
Absolutely. So, been a long time since Lenore graced itself in comic book form, and any of you fans of it, Rosario Dawson declaring her love of Lenore in the solicit here. So maybe you're a fan as well, and you got yourself some new Lenore action in a 3-issue miniseries on page 114. And then the collected Will Eisner's John Law. Perfect for fans of hard-boiled crime noir and The Spirit. This is some old-school Will Eisner action with Gary Chaloner on the artwork chores. This is original stories by Will Eisner from 2004. Includes an all-new, previously unpublished John Law story, a foreword by longtime Eisner publisher Dennis Kitchen. Must have not just for Eisner fans, but comic collectors of all ages. This is stuff that people may not have seen the first time around. Now available for you on page 116 from a legend like Will Eisner. Great to see an unpublished story getting published as well. All right.
More Conan.
Yep, more Conan indeed. Conan the Barbarian, the original comics omnibus, volume 5, from the Conan Comics Group. It's always been the Conan Comics Group. It has never been anything else. There's never been a war in Eurasia. So do check that out on page 124. As we're up to some JMD Mateus era Conan the Barbarian stories with John Buscema and Gil Kane involved for good measure, as well as Bruce Jones, Neil Adams, and Roy Thomas. Pair of annuals by Roy Thomas at that. And I think that'll do it for Titan this month. You know what? Why not? I'll mention the manga before the manga session. Farewell, My Odin, Volume 1. Unleash the wrath of the War Wolf. Not the Man Wolf. That's someone else. Epic battles between mighty warriors in a bygone era. Intricately weaves the story of Luke, who faces hardships from birth but overcomes the suffering he endures to become one of the most feared and powerful warriors in the land. This is
Kind of reminds me of that movie that came out during the pandemic.
which one?
The one with Nicole Kidman? The Northman?
Yes.
Yes.
There you go. Yep. Yeah. Well, this is along those lines, certainly.
I mean, not exactly, yeah, but it's similar.
Definitely. So, page 134 for that Farewell, My Odin, Chihiro Yoshioka on the writing and artwork chores.
And we may as well mention, because we've mentioned it several times over the past few months, that Huge Detective, that miniseries from Titan, is now going to be available in a trade paperback. That's on page 132 and 133.
Excellent. Good point, sir.
There it is.
Adam Rose and Magenta King. He's a detective, and he's huge.
His partner is also a detective, and she's...
Oh, right. This is the giant.
Mhm.
The giant detective. Yes, that's
Yep,
right.
it's BFG, CSI BFG. That's...
Yes.
Oh, my God. Too good. And Patton Oswalt has some praise for it on there as well. Fantastic noir, homicide, and giants. A weird mashup that absolutely works. Go grab it. And I trust Mr. Oswalt's comic book opinions. So, yes. I may very well also be picking up the trade of this because it looked damn good when we were talking about it. And now here it is all collected in one package for us. All right. I will set us up after Image here. Do I even have... Oh, yes, I do. Okay, all right.
I have a small list of indie books I wanted to bring up.
Oh
Not
yeah.
all of them are indie books, but yeah.
Well, we're first going to get to that DC and Marvel action, but just
Okay.
setting us up after Image, since we already talked about Image.
Right. I think this. Yeah. Here we go.
And onward we go to DC. And guess who's back? Back again. Aquaman's back. Tell a friend. I most definitely will when we get to that solicitation because it's by one of my favorite creators. But meanwhile, Justice League Unlimited #3, Mark Waid, Dan Mora, Plaz is involved. So that's just going to make it even that much more fun as the global terrorist group Inferno has taken its next steps toward world dominance with an ecological disaster. So you got to call on Superman, Wonder Woman, and others to sacrifice the life of Swamp Thing? Plus, Plastic Man and Beast Boy work with the Atom Project to fix their scrambled superpowers.
I got the Federici variant.
Nice. Yep, this looks just as fun as I want it to, and that is available for you on page 1.
I almost got that UV cover, but it's so much more expensive. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And after the announcement that came out of New York Comic Con, shock of shocks, they're going to be putting out facsimile editions of Batman Hush, and beginning here with issues 608 and 609 on page 2.
And speaking of Long Halloween, which we did at the very beginning,
here it is.
Long Halloween reprints.
We have a noir edition of Batman, the Long Halloween, the Last Halloween. So that'll be nice and spooky and black and white with Eduardo Riso on the artwork chores for that first issue. And the facsimile edition of Batman, the Long Halloween, issue 1, of course, by Loeb and Sale on that same page 3. We're reaching our conclusion of Zdarsky's run, page 1, issue 156 on page 4 of that, and a solicit for Absolute Batman issue 4 on page 4. I read issue 1. It was fan-damtastic. I cannot wait to read issue 2. I might very well wind up reading it tonight, but it is excellent. Completely blew me out of the water, quite frankly. Like, was not expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, and it really, really hit home for me.
Yeah, I just read the first one a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, it's really good.
And here, #4 is an origin issue with guest art by Gabriel Walta of Tom King's The Vision series.
Excellent. Yeah, good way, excellent artist to bring on, and good time to do an origin issue after setting up the general story of what we're going to be having. So, good stuff. Then Absolute Superman issue 3 on the next page, Memories of Krypton. We go back in time from years ago when Jor-El and Lara became utterly convinced that their planet was headed toward cataclysm, and see how they went about saving their child. Absolute Wonder Woman #4 brings us a very different story as well, continuing for Diana. She's much more magic-based in the Absolute world, and we'll continue to see just where Kelly Thompson is bringing her in the 4th issue here on page 5.
Yeah, I haven't got my hands on either of those yet, either one of those series yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Are you looking forward to Superman and Doomsday teaming up in Superman issue 22?
I am completely stunned, but I haven't started the story. I just am finishing up the Absolute Power stuff. So I just finished Absolute Power. Period. I have to read all the Superman tie-ins because I've been reading them. I've been very slowly reading through what I can. But yeah, I heard Josh talking about it on a YouTube video with Snyder, and he said this is his favorite character. Like one of his favorite characters is Doomsday. So, yeah. I mean, it's unexpected. I don't expect them to team up, but I trust Josh Williamson. I mean, he's a great writer. So
yeah,
I'm down, I guess.
And you get Dan Moore artwork to go along with it. So why the
Very
heck?
true. Dan Moore, the guy who's probably stretched a little too thin. He's everywhere.
But he does it,
He
and
does do it.
he's not doing the artwork in the Superman Lex Luthor special. However, that is going to the one and only Eddie Barrows, with Iber Ferreira also involved with the process on page 6. As during the battle of the House of Brainiac, Lex Luthor's memories were wiped clean. But now, after the events of the All In special, the world needs Lex to remember his past. Do we want Lex to remember his past? I guess we're going to find that out. And this issue will go into that very much. Here on page 6. Ooh. Gorgeous cover. Wow. Oh, my God. Beautiful, beautiful stuff there. Art and cover by Daniel Sampier. This is the Battle of Wonder, beginning in issue 17 of Wonder Woman by Tom King. After revealing the Sovereign and his plans to the entire nation, Wonder Woman sends in her girls to wage war against his army.
Ooh.
Who better to have by your side than all the wonders you can fit in a book?
I haven't read Wonder Woman yet, but I gotta find that first trade.
Yeah, definitely do it. This I am reading as soon as I can get my hands on it. Aquaman #1 by Jeremy Adams and art and cover by John Timms. Arthur Curry's powers have evolved to powerful new heights, and this is one king ready to use them to kick some serious butt. I look forward to that butt being kicked.
So it looks like he has like a fusion of like his powers and Mira's powers.
Looks that way, yeah. I mean, that certainly looks like a water sword he's using on the cover here. Mm-hmm. Yep. And he's got the beard and nicely kept hair. So a nice combination of both.
Yeah, you don't get to see that often. It's usually like long hair, beard, or short hair, no beard.
Exactly. Yeah, I dig this look for him. The costume is classic, but also kind of has a combo of some of his more rugged looks. And there's a shark on the cover. So, overall, I'm in. This is going to be good stuff.
He's going to be cruising around the world fighting giant monsters made of solid water.
Excellent. Why the hell not?
Not a single blessed reason I can think of, Ian.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's being written by the same guy who revitalized the Flash and the Green Lantern, and now it's the Sea King's turn.
Exactly. Yep. Jeremy Adams can do very little wrong in my eyes, and I think he's going to do a damn fine job with Aquaman. Loving the character designs for his supporting characters. Miro looks great in that outfit. Jackson, I don't think he's ever looked sleeker either. This is going to be some really good stuff, I think. And I just love
the water kaiju look cool.
They do. They really do. And the classic DC Bullet. We haven't said that enough. The classic DC Bullet being back just makes it that much cooler.
Yeah,
I did miss it a lot. The
comic boxes on DC Comics right now make me think it's 1991 again. I like the Bullet and all, but the rest of the treatment is kind of weirdly retro, and it's a throwback to an era of DC history I didn't think anybody missed.
I mean, my very first DC comics from that era, and that's when I knew Superman wasn't Monarch. Because who was it? Was it Wave Rider that was the guy that was part of that big event?
Yes, it was Wave Rider.
Yeah, the first comic I ever got from DC was the Superman annual. I think it was number 3, and Superman becomes president because someone tries to assassinate Pete Ross, and his identity gets exposed, and he becomes president, and he fixes things, and he gets the Green Lantern ring off of Guy Gardner through sheer willpower. Then he gives it back because he doesn't need that power, thereby proving he's not Monarch.
Okay, sure.
I remember all that. I haven't read that issue in a good 10, 15 years, but I remember all that.
Oh, man. Wow. Well, your
Stuck with
first,
me.
hey, your first sticks with you. That's
Nice.
that's the way it does. Yep.
Proves the old adage:
Very
every
true.
comic is somebody's first.
Yep.
Damn right. Yeah. Second issue of New Gods. I look forward to reading the first issue when it is available to see whether it is my bag or not. But this is Ram V's take on the New Gods. And, Mr. Miracle is at a crossroads in this, presented with a terrible choice by his brother Orion. He must decide between venturing out to save a child he's never met, a new god made manifest, or stay home to raise a child of his own. So, choices to be made, and very important ones at that, in New Gods issue 2. The Atom Project launches on page 11. John Ridley and Ryan Parrott, art by Mike Perkins, as Ray Palmer and Ryan Choi team together as the heroes called Atom, doing their best to try to save Captain Atom's powers while they're at it.
Mm-hmm. Not that Captain Atom wants them to do any such thing.
Indeed. Yep. Atom. They're all over the place.
What? Oh, I'm right here.
Bump. Yeah, this is as many atoms as you could fit into a book, and maybe one of them's going to be named Adam too. I mean, why not?
One of them definitely is. Albeit it's his surname,
Yeah,
But yeah, it's good to see Ryan and Ray collaborating for a change, as opposed to one just bearing the torch of the other. Now they can be colleagues. And throwing in one of my favorite characters, Captain Atom, for good measure, although he's going to be kind of in an antagonistic role in this, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yep. Digging the redesigns of the Atom costumes as well. They kind of look a little bit more armory, but I mean it makes sense for the work that they're doing. But it's almost like red blue team combined together, they're getting ready to pilot a mech almost with these costumes. I appreciate that.
Right. And it looks like on the cover that they're going up and at them.
Yes, that too. No, it's up and Atom.
Up and at them.
Atom Ant. If they could, I mean, there is a track record for Hanna-Barbera and DC crossovers, after all. So if they could work Atom Ant into this miniseries, it could only be an improvement.
That is true. Meanwhile, on the next page 12, we get the second issue of the Challengers of the Unknown by Christopher Cantwell and Sean Isaac. Again, excellent creative team on this one. Throw in Batman, Aquaman, and the Sea Devils for good measure, along with the Challengers. Yeah, I'm reading this.
As am I.
Cantwell is always a favorite, and this looks like it's going to be great. And then on that same page, we get issue 3 of the Question All Along the Watchtower book with Batwoman and Renee Montoya Question and their ongoing story on page 12. A Major Disaster on Action Comics 1082 featuring Major Disaster. How about that?
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Yep. Checking in with Justice League Elite era Major Disaster, it looks like.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing John Ridley read that series and remembers that Major Disaster was a good guy for a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, that's what we get here. And Inaki Miranda is on the artwork chores for this as well. Can Clark Kent discover the reason behind this villain's decline back into the world of crime? Wondering if we're getting kind of a Sandman bent on Major Disaster here. Maybe it's not necessarily his will that's leading him in this direction. Who knows? Sandman had kind of a multiple personality thing going at one point. Maybe that's where. And Tom Taylor's Detective Comics run continues here as the horrific Asima has left him questioning everything. Who is she? How does she know Bruce Wayne? Who is your daddy and what does he do? Find the answers to these burning questions. The world's greatest detective must plunge into the darkest corners of his city and his psyche. Page 13. And of course,
Batgirl.
yes. Love the look of the Batgirl series. Excellent cover here with Cass on the train, and Cass and Lady Shiva as dangerous new players enter the field. Will the unburied, still hot on their trail and seeking blood, can Batgirl actually trust her mother, or will it lead to certain death? I don't think
That sounds like a lot of fun.
I don't think it's going to lead to certain death, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Also, look at what Selina's wearing here in Catwoman number 72. That is an awesome outfit.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of what is her the 60s Catwoman.
There were
yes.
3 of them. I mean, there was Julie Newmar.
Julie Newmar is who I was
Eartha
thinking of.
Kitt. There was Lee Merriweather. Take your pick.
Yeah, it was Eartha. I feel like it's Julie Newmar's mask with like a very nice cocktail dress.
Yep.
Vintage chic. Regard.
Yes.
That's on page 14 there.
On page 15, I'm actually semi-considering checking out an issue of Harley Quinn because it features a Clayface family reunion.
Love it.
So I'll take a look at that on the stands, and if writer Elliot Callan treats the Clayfaces as individual personalities and not just interchangeable little globs of joke butt, I might actually buy that issue.
I love that it's going to include Basil, Matt, Sandra, Preston, Cassius, Spanky.
Yeah. Yes, we start. Members of the Little Rascals slip in there.
Yeah,
there are a couple of other Clayfaces along the way that could be mentioned there, but
apparently Clownface.
that was actually a character at one point. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, they're all there for us on page 15. And meanwhile, on that same page, the Order of the Green Knight's leader revealed. Issue 29. We are 29 issues in to a Poison Ivy series. And 29 issues ago, I would not have told you that was possible.
Yeah. It's usually a 6. It's actually maybe a 12 and done.
Yep. G. Wall Wilson has proved us wrong, and it's been doing quite well for DC. Killer Frost breaks bad in John Layman's Titans issue 19 on page 16. Love me some Killer Frost. The covers to Birds of Prey are always so pretty.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, did I remember? I don't think I have this in my order. I'm gonna check real quick.
Make it happen. Make it happen. Meanwhile, issue 3, while you're checking that, of Black Canary Best of the Best. Victory seemed assured for the vicious Lady Shiva. Can anything turn the tide of this match? Plus, the Dark Knight detective drops in on Canary's training to sway her from the fight. Once again on page 17 there, Tom King and Ryan Sooks, Black Canary Best of the Best, issue 3.
What issue of Birds of Prey was that?
That is Birds of Prey issue 17.
Nope. Gotta get it.
There you go.
I don't know how I missed that. I never miss.
Well, let's just focus on the fact that Black Lightning issue 3 by Brandon Thomas is going to get Steel involved. I like that design of Steel too.
Yeah. I like the new hammer. Got the black S.
Yep.
Kind of like a War Machine-ish kind of face style.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Digging it.
Much bigger suit though.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, the family lightning continues in the 3rd issue of that series. And on that same page, JSA number 3, after sacrificing his reincarnation for one last life with the woman he loves, hell is the last place Hawkman wants to be right now. With his allies at the Tower of Fate under siege by the Injustice Society, can he escape Wotan's clutches, or is his goose truly cooked? Get some good Hawkman action in JSA, along with the Injustice Society. Yeah, this looks like some good JSA action. Page 18. Ooh. Gorgeous cover there for Green Lantern number 19.
Why does it have to be $50?
Yeah. Because
I'm talking about the Birds of Prey cover. I'll show you. I'll put it in the chat for you to see. It's $50.
Oh,
it's so great though. It hurts.
Is it the Acuna?
No, it's Ryan Gonzalez.
Oh.
It's this one. I didn't realize it was a 1 in 25. It's Ryan Gonzalez. I love Ryan Gonzalez. I know her work mostly from Marvel Snap actually, but she's done before Marvel Snap existed. She's been a cover artist for a while now.
Okay. Yeah, I have it here. I'll show it to the crowd real quick. Yeah, you are right. That is absolutely great.
I love it. It's so great.
Very chibi and very cute.
Yeah, she does a very chibi style, and I like her chibi style.
Nice.
But I'm not spending $60 on a cover.
Yes, please do not do that.
No.
For your sake and for mine, please do not do that. But the cover here for Green Lantern issue 19, as I was saying, is absolutely gorgeous, and a new era of the Corps begins here. Jeremy Adams still at the helm. Art by Fernando Passarin and Auclair Albert. I don't care if it's Albert. If you're going to have your first name be Auclair, it's Auclair Albert in my head.
There's no other way to do it, really.
Exactly. Stop the rise of fractal lanterns throughout the universe. Fascinating.
I like the idea of fractal lanterns. I don't like the idea of Green Lantern becoming a $4.99 cover price 32-page book.
Yes.
Which has been so rare at DC so far, certainly compared to Marvel these days.
Agreed. But the $4.99 32-page book, Green Lantern Fractured Spectrum, witnesses the rise of the fractal lanterns on that same page. We get a nice one-shot to go along with that issue there. Jeremy Adams once again on the writing chores, art by V. Ken Marion. But yes, $4.99, no bueno. The Segovia cover with Kyle on it, that I absolutely dig. Oh wow, the Flash number 17. It's Thor, but not that Thor.
Right.
Yep.
For Smash.
Wally goes on a family vacation to Skartaris.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Warlord, baby.
I do love Skartaris. It's a fun. All those stories are always fun.
Yeah.
At least the ones I've seen. I haven't seen all of them.
No, they're definitely good times. Definitely good times. Page 20 for that Flash issue 17. And Two-Face issue 2. I know we mentioned issue 1 last month as something that was going to be a buy. And can Harvey handle the Royal Flush Gang's messy divorce? You have me at the Royal Flush Gang.
Listen, I don't want to have to make it tough, but I'm the one that thinks that you should get this stuff.
Bye. Yeah. Christian Ward, Fabio Veras. This series is going to look very pretty on a shelf. I can tell.
Yeah, it's going to be good comics for sure. And I can say the same for this Metamorpho series written by Al Ewing with art by Steve Lieber at the bottom of the same page, as he's clearly just hell-bent on embracing all the kickiest, kookiest elements of 60s DC in this series, unapologetically.
Oh, that's so great.
Because we've got Metamorpho, Element Girl, and Sapphire Stag with Java on drums, forming a band. Don't be surprised if the DC Silver Age rockers, the Maniacs, show up. But one person who definitely will show up is the classic Bob Haney Teen Titans villain, the Mad Mod.
Beautiful. No notes.
Nope.
Zero notes.
That is terrific.
Well done.
DC a go-go in all the best ways, and I will buy the heck out of every issue.
Absolutely. Page 22 for that one there. And you get more Mr. Mind action in Shazam number 19. Josie Campbell and Dan McDade. The gods are watching. What they see could tip the balance of power in their family, city, and world.
And oh look, Power Girl's got a costume that looks more like her old costume.
What?
Who saw that coming?
Wow.
Get out of here.
I can't believe she's once again wearing a bathing suit. That's just crazy talk.
You mean to tell me that one of the major two comic companies did a story that fundamentally changed nothing about one of their characters? No way. No way. That's not true. That's impossible.
My brain once again goes back to Zero Hour and how, one of the main things about that was that Power Girl gave birth. Yeah.
Stillborn, right? Wasn't it?
No.
Nope. It was a baby, but it was also a demon homunculus thing that turned evil and then disappeared.
She got caroled, like straight up. Like it was
right. Okay.
I mean, it wasn't nearly as like messed up as what happened to Carol Danvers, but it was pretty damn close.
Right. You guys have read Zero Hour much more recently than I have. So.
Indeed. Yep. And for any of you who haven't checked out that episode, do check out our archive for a wonderful retrospective on 30 years of that sucker.
No less cynically, though, in Power Girl 17, Power Girl, Kara, or Karen, I will not call her Paige ever, reclaims a little bit of her Earth 2 heritage when she becomes the new owner of the Daily Star building.
Okay. Nice. I want to know, so is Streaky hers, or is that just her own cat?
I'm not sure. I haven't been following this series, but I want to say it's just the ugly yellow cat who never really had a name that she had as a pet back in the Justice League Europe days.
Fair enough. And we get the other Steel involved here as well, by the way. We get the female Steel.
Mm-hmm. Who is also involved in the Black Lightning story.
Yes, indeed. So the penultimate issue of Jenny Sparks number 6 by Tom King and Jeff Spokes, solicited on here on page 24. And a very Michael Keaton looking Batman on the cover of Batman Full Moon issue 4.
Oh yeah.
Actually, it might even be a little bit Kilmer now that I think about it.
Yeah, something about the lips.
Yep,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
A little more bat pout going on down there.
Indeed. And DC versus Vampires World War V gets its 6th issue on page 25. Just the idea of this, like, it's just, oh man. Hey, Mr. Miracle, the last man standing, essentially. Mark Waid's issue 35 begins the 20,000 Leagues storyline as a distress call from Atlantis brings Batman and Superman deep beneath the waves and face to face with Aquaman himself. This man of two worlds harbors a secret and will be up to the Dark Knight and the Man of Steel to thwart a coup that threatens the peace of all undersea life. Interesting premise. We get 3 of DC's finest in World's Finest for the upcoming story arc. Page 26.
I'm always down for a little Aquaman team up.
Oh, yeah. And I love this cover. I know it's not the final cover because it still doesn't have the colors and whatnot, but that Samney cover for Batman and Robin Year 1, number 4 is outstanding. Page 27 for that. Go further down to DC Power, Rise of the Power Company?
Mm-hmm.
Number 1? What?
What a blast from the past.
Yep. It's not a property I expected to see make a return, but they've given it a really strong positive purpose here. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's actually got the same central character in Josiah Power, and he was a black gay attorney who gained superhuman powers from the detonation of the Dominator's gene bomb in the Invasion story. And he put together a group of for-profit adventurers back in the mid-2000s. And now he's back forming a new power company, this time formed exclusively of heroes of color.
Okay. Interesting.
Looks like this is a kind of a prelude to an upcoming project involving this power company team, setting the stage for the return of the power company. Yeah, so I guess in February, just in time for like Black History Month, we'll get this new power company team out on its own.
I mean, we ain't kidding when we say that everything old is new again right here. Like I'm aghast. I enjoyed the power company back in the day. Don't get me wrong. It's just I legitimately thought that I would never hear this premise again, but they own it. They can do what they want with it, and they are most definitely bringing it back in what appears to be a really cool premise here.
Yeah, I really like the sound of this.
Yes, indeed.
Power Company's back. We have a Batgirl series going on. It is 2002 all over again.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh, page 29 for that one shot, and then next month I'm sure we'll probably wind up getting the full Power Company, whether it be miniseries or ongoing, depending. Oh, Patton Oswalt brings us DC Horror Presents number 4 on the next page. Holidays are behind us, but we've got more cursed and dangerous gifts to give. 2 stories from 2 wickedly comedic teams. Patton Oswalt and Jordan Bloom explore Gotham City's dark side, and the Flophouse podcasts, Brendan Hay and Stephen Kostansky, spin a Matter Eater Lad tale that'll have your stomach churning. The final issue of DC Horror Presents for us here, 17 plus on page 30. That is not your daddy's Green Lantern, most definitely. Okay. I want to find whoever came up with this title, and I just want to both shake their hand and slap them. DC's Lex and the City. And the cover is a Sex and the City send-off. Like, oh my God. Wow. I'm speechless. I'm completely speechless. Like, you want to talk about a Valentine's Day comic? This is the type of Valentine's Day comic that you should be having, or not. I can't quite decide it. Brendan Hayes, Cinna Grace, Dave Wildgos, and others. Artwork by Howard Porter in this, Serge Acuna, Stephen Byrne, and others as well. It's going to be an anthology book. It's called Lex in the City. I love you. I hate you. We're moving forward. Onward to the facsimiles. We get the second ever appearance of the JLA in Brave and the Bold number 29 by Gardner Fox, and the limited collector's edition number 48. Wonderful name for a comic right there. Limited collector's edition. Facsimile edition of limited collector's edition. Page 32. I almost feel like somebody's having way too much fun at the DC offices this month, like with Lex in the City and this. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Oh, it's good. You want the DC editorial office to have fun. That means they're enjoying life again.
Yep. Meanwhile, limited edition, The Untold Legend of the Batman by Len Wein with artwork by Jim Aparo and John Byrne. This is a haunting and introspective tale that puts all of the Caped Crusaders' detective skills to the test. When the original Batsuit worn by Bruce Wayne's late father is stolen from the Batcave, Batman begins an investigation into the possible culprit, which leads him to recollect the origins of close allies. And this is a really cool book to have back here, and it kind of. I mean, it was like one of the first times we really got like his father wore a bat suit at one point type of situation, and we certainly got a lot more of that in Flashpoint, but that was a very, very different situation.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm. Issue 33, by the way. Sorry, page 33 also gives us issue 10 of Crisis on Infinite Earths. So 2 more issues left in the Crisis facsimile full collection there. And we get DC Comics Presents number 26 while we're at it. First appearance of the new Teen Titans. I like the premise of this book on page 34. Jimmy Olsen's Super Cyclopedia. I just like saying Super Cyclopedia, I'll fully admit it. Mm-hmm. Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, is documenting the heroism of his friends and learning how to use this cool new technological marvel. When a villainous toy boy and his mischievous league of the multiverse get their hands on knockoff versions of the device, they won't stop until they fulfill his deadly plans. Can Jimmy save the day? Along with Rip Hunter and Linda Park by his side, Jimmy's definitely up for the challenge. Kooky, zany stuff going on here. I'm all for this.
Yeah, they had me at Mischief League of the Multiverse. I am in for this for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah,
this you gotta love that cover. It's like that classic Flash issue. Stop! Don't pass up this issue. My life depends on it. There's Jimmy making a direct appeal to potential buyers of the comic to help him save the multiverse.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, this is very late 70s Kirby, I feel like.
Yep. And the image, probably not intentional, looks a little bit like Sean Pryor. But Jimmy Olsen's Super Cyclopedia, written by Gabe Saraya, art and cover by Sandy Jarrell. This is a soft cover, 144-page book for only $12.99 on page 34. With some awesome artwork on the following pages. Superman Space Age collected in full on the next page, page 36, by Mark Russell and Mike Allred. And on that same page, Batman Dark Age by the same group, resolicited. All there on page 36 for you to enjoy. And we get some cool collections here in the DC Finest line. Plastic Man Origin. We get Chase to the End of Time, which is a Man of Steel and the Flash collection here, containing DC Comics Presents 1 through 14 and Brave and the Bold 141 to 155 by Martin Pasco, with David Michelini, Len Wein, and others. And Suicide Squad by Ostrander on that same one, Trial by Fire. All that on page 38.
A lot of Bronze Age.
Indeed. And the collection of the My Adventures with Superman series on page 39 as well. Set between seasons 1 and 2. All right. Zatanna Bringing Down the House, I'll mention in real quick here, collects the first 5 issues of that. Mariko Tamaki, Javier Rodriguez. This is a Eisner Award-winning team of Mariko Tamaki and Javier Rodriguez, and I was looking forward to reading this in full, and now I will have the opportunity to do so on page 41.
Yep. Javier Rodriguez's artwork is always worth looking at and salivating over.
Absolutely. And on page 42, we get The Authority, Book 1, the DC Compact Comics Edition. So they're doing the compact treatment here with Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch's Authority. So you get that in a smaller bound on page 42. And on the next page, covered by Phil Hester, Green Arrow Volume 3 Against the Wall, and Green Arrow Volume 2. Green Lantern Volume 2, all there for you on page 43.
That Green Arrow, having Hester on the cover really threw me off. I thought this was like a Judd Winnick collection.
No, I thought that for a second too, yeah. Yeah. Hester came back for a few issues in that Green Arrow run, so I guess that's why he also stuck around for a couple covers. But yeah, it really just paints it as a very specific era of Green Arrow. Agreed.
Yeah.
And then to finish us out, the Absolute DC New Frontier is re-solicited and being rerun here. That is the way to read New Frontier. If you do not have an Absolute version of this, do it. It is.
I think I do.
I do. It's right there on my shelf, and I freaking love every minute of it. It's gorgeous artwork by Darwin Cook, and the largest way you can see it. So definitely check that out. And on that same page, Superman 78 solicited, as well as Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 1, the 2025 edition. All there on page 44.
Art by a friend of the show, Freddie Williams.
Yes, indeed. And we'll finish it out with the Dead Man Omnibus here, as this collects a whole lot of early Dead Man stuff. This is the complete origin story of Dead Man, plus some other stories thrown in there for good measure. Great cover by Neil Adams, artwork by Neil Adams and Carmine Infantino and Dick Dillon and others. Well worth checking out if you're a fan of Dead Man or you just want to know more about the character. So check it out on page 45. On we go to Marvel. Marvel, thank you very much for the Fantastic Four cover. The Fantastic. Oh, wait.
Which
What?
is on an actual issue of Fantastic
Amazing.
Four.
Yes.
Amazing. Good.
Oh my God, it happened. That's it. Preview's over. Preview's over.
Yeah, that's it.
Hope for humanity restored.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Good night, everybody. Oh my freaking God. I was so ready to say it, and they didn't do it for once. Mwah! Ah, you learn, Marvel. You learn. Thank you so much for that. So if you want a Disney What If Fantastic Four cover, it's actually on a Fantastic Four issue. Beautiful. Meanwhile, for absolutely no reason whatsoever, Deadpool and Wolverine are having a team-up / fight. I wonder why.
No idea.
Benjamin Percy and Joshua Cassara. It's not like it's the hottest Marvel movie of the last 5 years or anything like that. But yeah, it makes perfect sense. They're teamed up in comic books. They're going to fight. It's going to be fun. And it's by Benjamin Percy. So it's actually being written by a good writer, good artist along with them, Joshua Cassara. So it'll be some fun stuff on page 2. Great artwork there on the following pages. Speaking of Wolverine, Ultimate Wolverine. He's different. Chris Condon, Alessandro Capuccio on the artwork chores. The Maker's Ultimate Weapon. This brings the story of Wolverine to the forefront here. In order to maintain control of their corner of the Maker's world, 3 members of his council, Magic, Colossus, and Omega Red, deploy their most lethal asset, the Winter Soldier. But who is the weapon behind the mask? Hint, it ain't Bucky this time. So rather than just being Weapon X, he's the quite literal Winter Soldier in the Ultimate Universe. Logan, you better watch out for this dude. And he's got a whole Russian motif with his costume that I like, with the whole red star on the front. This is not your daddy's Logan. Definitely not. So
Yeah. Unfortunately, I saw the of 12 and I'm going to whiff because they're going to make a collection.
oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I just need to be more disciplined about my purchasing.
Fair enough. And I will be reading it in the Marvel Unlimited app. So
I could do that too, actually.
Page 6 for that solicitation. And then, do you remember the champions? Well, guess what? They're back and they're new. Steve Fox, Ivan Fiorelli bring the champions back. And it's totally not because Marvel had to renew their copyright, but Hydra, Scarlet Witch, this actually looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, quite frankly.
It's new characters. I mean, many of which appear to have some kind of legacy connection to established characters, but still, it's nice to see Marvel, trying some new things. And
So
one
it's-
definite innovation is the inclusion of a cursed roller derby jammer on the team roster.
So it's Zoomer, Runaways / Young Avengers.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Every generation needs a group like this.
I agree. Yeah.
Like,
And
we had those two. Previous generations had the New Warriors.
yeah. But
I just noticed that the aforementioned cursed roller derby jammer happens to have a very Ghost Rider-like appearance. So maybe it's not the pure innovation I was hoping it would be.
Mm,
Well, what I am curious about this, like almost like Blue Beetle-esque armored American, not Captain America related, but maybe Captain America related character in the back, and what her deal is, because usually when you have a star motif, you're related to Steve in some way or one of the other Caps. But who knows? Do check that out if you're interested. I am interested. And that is on page 10. You get a much better view of them on page 11 in one of the other covers. And Sam Wilson, Captain America, gets himself a full miniseries here. Once again, wonder why, but Greg Pak and Evan Narcisse with Adair Macias on the art.
oh, Evan's a former customer of mine.
Oh, very cool. Evan Narcisse.
And he's facing the Red Hulk?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Get out of here!
Yeah, I wonder why. That's so weird.
What an interesting and unique combo that's unlikely to be duplicated anywhere else.
I agree. At least this one doesn't have Harrison Ford's face.
That's true. Although I want them to be on a plane, and I want Red Hulk to go, "Get off my plane."
It'll happen. It'll happen. Just wait for it. Just wait for it. You're gonna get
So
it.
hopeful.
You're either gonna get it in the movie or you're gonna get it in the comic. One way
I'm
or the
so
other.
hopeful.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is the thing that keeps me going.
Yes, page 12 for that full information there. If you are interested, I am actually more interested in what is on page 14 as Magic #1 by Ashley Allen with Jermaine Peralta on the art chores. A new ongoing series for Magic, not a mini, unless they decide that it's not selling and then they cancel it in 10. But for now, this is an ongoing series of Magic. That has definitely never happened before. Ilyana Rasputin getting center stage. Good for her. She's a damn cool character, especially this version of the character. So they can go
The premise seems really cool too. She's going into a demon hunter arc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So worth the price of admission there on page 14. And
That's such a J. Scott Campbell cover.
I know. J. Scott Campbell, never change.
Danger Girl. It's like so danger now since we're doing 90s nostalgia. It's so Danger Girl.
Speaking of 90s nostalgia,
Yeah.
page 16, Rogue the Savage Land, 5-issue mini, written by Tim Seeley. You get me there. Zulema Scotto Lavina on the artwork chores. We journey into the lost world with Rogue, Magneto, Kazar, and more. This fills in a gap during the Savage Land days of Rogue and Magneto, and this sounds awesome. This actually, I'm in. I love gap stories, and this is what they're presenting us here as well.
It's pretty likely, if not very likely, that we're getting this because of X-Men 97, which I absolutely love.
Oh sure, yeah. Oh my god! Oh, look at that cover!
Okay, Magnus, get it. Come on!
Wow!
Put that chest away.
This was not drawn by Jim Lee, but like
it's so Jim Lee though.
That is a Jim Lee Magneto. Like my god!
Yeah, it really is. The line work on his like face. It's so
God. Wow. All right. And meanwhile, David Paposi, Mike Henderson, talk about some 90s. We got some 90s ass guns with Cable. Loving
Extreme Mutant.
You know what's funny too? Tom Brevoort told us when he rebooted the X-Men, he was like, we're gonna put the time traveling mutants to the side until next year, probably. Well, guess what? It was literally until exactly next year. Because this is coming
away till the first week of January.
Yep, basically. Although I guess they technically came back last month with last month's solicitations with Cable
Oh yeah.
but that was a one shot that led up to this. But yeah, oh my god, cool. I mean, it looks like straight up Cable. He's been a soldier, an X-Man, a protector of the time stream. But even from his earliest days, the mutant known as Cable, has been living on borrowed time, waging a lonely war against the ravages of the techno-organic virus. And when a high-stakes mission in the future goes catastrophically awry, Cable is left stranded in the dystopian city of Salvation Bay and will find himself caught in the midst of a civil war that will change his life forever. Yeah, 5-issue mini. It's in the future. It's in its own pocket.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not exactly mainline X-Men. So just real quick, isn't a hidden gem supposed to be like an up-and-coming talent thing for Marvel?
Yes.
Why is Mike Mignola a hidden gem? When has Mike Mignola ever been a hidden gem?
1993.
Yeah, it's been a while.
You know what I think it is actually, and I wouldn't be shocked. I think they may have actually retermed that, and I guarantee you this is a variant cover of Mike Mignola artwork that existed that was a hidden gem that no one knew about. That
So more like unearthed artwork as opposed to like new talent.
Yeah, exactly. Because he ain't no new talent. He's Mike.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna follow this Mignola kid. How old is he?
I think he's got the goods.
Yeah.
Moving forward, prologue to One World Under Doom. Interesting.
Yep. Interesting concept here. Doom is the Sorcerer Supreme now. I mean, it's not the first time that idea has been floated, but I like what's happening here because Reed is trying to figure out magic. He can't stretch his brain around it. So Sue has the bright idea of bringing in another guy who has a background in both science and magic, Dane Whitman, the Black Knight, to maybe try to explain it to him. And one thing leads to another, and Reed and Sue end up being projected back in time into the bodies of medieval peasants, trying to hunt down the one magical artifact that might be able to stop Sorcerer Supreme Doom, but without the advantage of their Fantastic Four powers.
Interesting indeed. Gotta love it when the Fantastic Four get timey-wimey, and that's some of my favorite stories right there.
And this is the issue on which you can get a Disney parody variant cover that actually makes some freaking sense.
Woo! I might jump back in on Fantastic Four. Oh, so much. It's just so much.
I know.
I haven't read the first 18 issues of this run, and that's why I stopped. Yeah. It's like, I have the first 18 issues. I haven't touched them yet. I'm just going to stop buying them.
I'm gonna catch up on Unlimited because there's.
I should do that. I should stop buying stuff and just. I have Marvel Unlimited for a reason.
Exactly.
You gotta take advantage of it more.
Well, page 19 has that issue 28 of Fantastic Four for you folks, and also a Marvel and Disney What If Mickey and Friends became the Fantastic Four on the next page. So let's get even more Fantastic Four friendly, shall we, on page 20. Donald Duck as the Thing. Thank you, and thank you. That just makes it work. Gee, I wonder why Minnie wound up being the Invisible Girl. That's just so shocking right there.
What an incredible surprise.
I know. Meanwhile, second issue of the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man tie-in comic available on page 22. Christos Gage writing that one. So good pedigree. Here's something that I want to read.
This caught my eye too.
Page 23. J. Michael Straczynski and Will Robson on Doctor Doom and Rocket Raccoon. Yeah, all right. You got me with this one.
And it sounds like it's going to be first in a series of Straczynski-written offbeat team-up one-shots. Mm-hmm. And I enjoy offbeat team-ups no matter who's writing them, but with this kind of talent behind them, I think this is going to be something I'm going to be collecting.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep. What awaits Rocket and Latveria? Mischief, miscommunication, and an emotional journey across space and time in the Mighty Marvel way. Of course. And the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man continue on page 24. In Amazing Spider-Man, issue 65 deaths. Thank you. Thank you. We didn't need that. We really didn't need that. Can you please just either like call it an annual? If it's an annual, it's an annual.
Make a miniseries. You know, Amazing Spider Deaths, and then just right, like, and it's just a supplement, like that, like how Absolute Power, Task Force 7 was, like to Absolute Power. I'm saying that because I literally just finished reading it last night.
How do you think this is going to show up on the covers? On the cover, like they're just going to have like issue 65 deaths. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Or 65 point skull or something. 65 point.
They're devaluing both words and numbers by what they're doing here.
Yeah, I know. Well, the actual 8 Deaths of Spider-Man continuation happens on page 25 as Joe Kelly and Cafu put that next issue together, as Spider-Man has faced 4 Scions and is running out of extra lives, with a great cover by Mark Bagley to go along with it. Very reminiscent of previous covers. And oh, good. At least there's just an issue 66 and not an issue 66 deaths. I'm very happy about that.
66 interlude.
Yes. There's a new Daredevil miniseries, Unleash Hell, Red Band. Murder is an art. Yeah. Erica Schultz and Valentina Pinti bring this Elektra Daredevil story to front on page 27.
Isn't Red Band there sort of like much more bloody, like rated R?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically,
I might be interested in that.
Basically, what the Max line used to be.
Right. I might get. I mean, I'll read it on Unlimited, I guess. Yep. I need to learn to say that more and not wait for the trade, because I'm not waiting for. I'm not buying. No, I have enough trades.
Speaking of trade, there will be a trade to come of Ultimate Black Panther as we reach issue 12 of that series now, as Moon Knight versus Black Panther in Ultimate style is what we have at the forefront on page 28. And we're also going to get ourselves some Ultimate Kraven on page 29 with Jonathan Hickman and Marco Cicchetto's Ultimate Spider-Man issue 13.
Access?
No, that is not Access. It looks like him a little bit, though, so I could certainly see where you were getting that.
My first thought was Lex Luthor with hair, because he's a redhead, but then I was like, Access?
Alexander Luthor from Earth from Earth 3? What?
Yeah, that was my first thought, but I was like, no, that's DC, but Access is more likely to show up than Lex Luthor.
Yeah. No, this is I believe that is actually Ultimate Green Goblin, if I'm remembering.
Ah, okay.
I think that's the Harry of the Ultimate Universe.
Okay, I haven't read it yet.
You will love it. It is excellent.
I'm sure. It's Jonathan Hickman. I love that guy.
Now, I want to point out here on page 31, we get ourselves the Ultimate Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes. America Chavez
I can't wait.
Center stage in this issue as a group of galactic travelers from a far-flung, maker-free future arrive in search of her. And it looks like we're getting... I mean, is that a Kree Mystique, or is that just a Kree? Because I
think it's a Kree Marvel. It's like a Captain Marvel, but not Captain Marvel.
All right, fair enough.
Marvel. Because I think we've had Ultimate Marvel. Well, not in this universe.
Yeah.
It's Captain Marvel, I guess Star-Lord, Cosmo, and I think that's supposed to be based on one of the original Guardians. I'm not quite sure.
I think so, although that could also potentially be an Iron Fist, just even looking at the design in
yeah.
background there. Kind of has like an Iron Fist motif
Could be.
Page 31 for that. Moving on. Let's remind everybody that the TVA issue 2 of 5 is found on page 36. Gambit involved with some Son of Satan and, of course, some Spider-Gwen action thrown in there for good measure. And Infinity Watch issue 2 of 5 on page 37, as we get more of that Infinity Watch madness going on. Philip Kennedy Johnson's Hellhunters issue 2, The Best There Is. Sergeant Nick Fury, Peggy Carter, the Soldier Supreme, and Ghost Rider 44 hunt down the demonic Captain Bruckner as they come across a squad of Nazis beset by an unstoppable force of Allied soldiers that turns out to be one Bowie knife-wielding killing machine, Logan. Fantastic. That sounds fascinating on page 38. Ooh. Yeah, this West Coast Avengers looks like it's going to be really good.
I'm excited.
Yep. A second Ultron appears and declares himself leader of a terrifying new religion, while Iron Man and War Machine reveal at last how their Ultron became a hero.
Interesting.
Yep. Clearly, the new religion is Scientology 2.0. And we get a what if that isn't Disney on this. What if Galactus transformed Hulk?
Oh, there's a couple this month, I think, because I saw that in the solicits.
Or Gambit, or Spider-Gwen, or Moon Knight.
Yeah.
All of them with covers by Ron Lim, which is kind of cool.
It is kind of cool, yeah. All written and drawn by different people, by the way. The Moon Knight is written by Alex Segura with Scott Eaton on the artwork on page 45. It's Kalinda Vasquez and Daniel Picciotto on the Spider-Gwen, and Josh Trujillo and Manuel Garcia bring us the Gambit one. That's actually a really good creative team. And Ann Nesenti and Stephen Byrne bring us the Rogue, while Matt Groom and Lan Medina bring us the Hulk. That starts off on page 41, and these solicits run until page 45. Storm Life Dream. Interesting. All Black creative team joins forces in a single anthology to honor the many extraordinary lives of Aurora Monroe. Angelique Roche and others bring this forward on page 46. Nice anthology book there of Storm stories. And you get Storm and Doom on the next page, page 47. X-Books in full throw here. Skipping over them for the most part because they're all mid-storyline. But I will point out the Saladin Ahmed Wolverine, the call of the Adamantine. Weapon X changed Wolverine's life forever when they bonded his claws and skeleton to the unbreakable metal adamantium. This is worse. Who or what is adamantine? That I want to know as well.
It's the mystic metal of which Hercules' mace is composed. That may not be the answer that they're teasing.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But who knows? Page 51 for that.
It's the rock band that Logan's being forced to join.
That could also
it's a Queen tribute band.
that
from the cover.
That also sounds about right. So
yeah.
All right. Head forward a little bit more. Betrayed! X Factor have survived their most grueling trial yet. Who can they turn to? And can they endure another betrayal? Betrayed! Page 56. I think they were betrayed. Meanwhile...
No.
Yeah. We finally get to find out what Xavier's secret is. He's only had one, so clearly this is it. Because he's never had any other secrets in the X-Files. Page 57 brings us forward. At this point, Chris Everly would be saying, "Ian, you're so cynical." Like, yeah, come on. It's
the X-Men.
Come on. Yeah. But this secret is the really important one, you guys, we swear. Alex Pacnadel, Diogenes Nevis, bring that forward on page 57.
Was there an NYX number 7?
There was, yes.
It's not in DCBS.
Interesting, because I have it here on page 54.
Right. Yeah, I saw it go by and I was like, wait a minute, that's not in my order. And I went to look and it's not listed. Only the trade paperback.
Looks like you may have to email.
Yeah.
Unless it was delayed.
That's possible.
Oh, and by the way, I want to point out, so Kelly and Lanzig, NYX number 7, I'm glad you brought this up because I've seen what you're building, Prodigy, and I don't think you have any idea how dangerous it is. Ms. Marvel trusts you, but you're helping her perpetuate a lie. Sophie trusts you, but you're absolving her of her crimes. Wolverine trusts you, not Logan, the other one, but you're asking her to indulge her violence. Anole trusts you, but he's the only one of you holding to the old ways. So I'll make this easy. I'll do it in a language we both understand. My name is Sync, and I challenge you to a battle to the death. I challenge you to the Circle Perilous. Thank you, Kelly and Lanzig. Thank you.
That's so cool. Yeah, I need this book. I'm going to get it from my friend Demetrius, who owns Everyone Comics and Collectibles over in Long Island City. If you're in Queens, you should check them out.
Wow.
Hashtag not an ad.
Yes, I know, but it was one.
It was kind of, yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
They didn't pay us for it.
Yeah, but Sync, gotta love me some Sync.
Yes.
Circle Perilous. Related to the Siege Perilous? Its own thing? I guess we're gonna find out. There's one MacGuffin that the X-Books have as the Siege Perilous. Page 58, by the way, speaking of X-Books, brings us a facsimile edition of the Claremont Byrne Classic, a vital chapter of the Dark Phoenix saga as Kitty Pryde meets more of the X-Men and the Hellfire Club get involved. And a facsimile edition of Fantastic Four #1, that throwaway comic that didn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
By Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, never heard of them.
Who?
Yep. Yeah. Minor footnote.
Exactly. Page 59.
Something about Kirby's wife? I don't remember the gag.
I think that was about it. Yeah. I'll be here all week. All right. Deadpool #10. Wow, I can't believe Wade's back.
Wade Wilson's alive?
I know. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. But he has a daughter now, so that's cool. So Wade and Ellie get to team up now. She's got a cool Taskmaster jacket that looks like the old jacket that Eric Masterson used to wear. So it's good stuff. Page 60.
Thunderpool, Deadstrike.
I like
Deadstrike. Okay.
Is this one of the costumes that's in like one of the Spider-Man games? This vibranium costume? Because it really
don't know. I have the game. My brother lent me the game. It's here somewhere. I just haven't. I haven't had a chance to play anything.
I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on it, but I think there was a costume very similar to this that was like the last costume you get in the Miles Morales Spider-Man game. But
yeah,
I could be wrong. But
I still got to play the first one first.
Oh my god! Yeah, you got it, man. You got it. Good stuff. Well, he's got some stuff going on page 64 and 65, and then Spider-Boy is dealing with Spider-Boy problems in the look of Daredevil and Bullseye. Further down, Attack of the Ice Worms. So if you like Dune, you will like Scarlet Witch #8. They're like sandworms, only they're a little bit colder. Page 69. Black Cat is joining the Avengers for a cosmic caper. Fascinating.
Given that Judd McKay is writing the Avengers right now, this is not such a surprise.
Yeah,
true.
you're right about that. Yeah, I have a
Well,
feeling.
it's a heist.
Yeah, it's going to be a one and done. But
Yeah.
but either way, it's going to be some fun. So page 71 for issue 22. And if you want some more facsimile in your life, they're doing a facsimile edition of Amazing Spider-Man number 129, the first introduction of the Punisher on page 72 there. Now,
I think because he's in the Born Again Netflix Disney Plus series.
yes, correct. Yep. That is definitely why they're doing that. Now, page 73 here. I don't even care about what the issue's about. I got to point this out. John Romita Jr. really just looks like he drew Daredevil and Bullseye running heads against each other. Like literally like they tripped and fell on each other's heads.
Daredevil has no neck.
No, he does not.
He has half a neck on the left side, but on the right side, his head is like morphed into his shoulder.
He doesn't need a neck. He doesn't need a neck.
That's fine. He can still echolocate with that shoulder in a way, right? Yeah, I'll be fine.
Neck. Who needs a neck?
Yeah, he needs a neck.
Either way, Death Becomes Her, page 73. Now that's a cover. Immortal
I
Thor.
love Alex Ross covers so much.
My God. Wow. This is not the story of the Immortal Thor. Then why is it in the Immortal Thor number 19?
See, this is why I can't give up single issues. Because I've been collecting Immortal Thor, so I'm gonna get this.
I get it. Yep. This looks
Tales of Asgard. Short stories, each illustrated by a different artist. So underneath that TBA heading, we've got Jan Bazaljua, Valerio Schiti, Juan Cabal, Martin Coccolo, Cafu, Steve Scrossi, Gavin Guidry, and many more.
excellent.
So it's like a whole issue of those in the style of those backups from way back when.
Exactly.
I like that. Good touch.
Yeah, 100%. Page 74 brings us that, and Al Ewing continues his excellent Immortal Thor run.
Page 76.
And then 76, yeah, go ahead.
Yep, Spirits of Vengeance number 5. We've got Ghost Rider 2099. Zero Cochran ripping Ghost Rider's flaming spinal column right out of his back.
Excellent. Excellent.
Feels like it ought to be red banded, don't you think?
Just a teensy-tiny bit, yeah. The design of Ghost Rider 2099, especially here, has never looked more Mad Maxy. Like it's just screaming Mad Max Fury Road to me.
Yeah, very post-apocalyptic.
Yep.
Kind of like patched together cyborg.
Shiny and chrome.
Yeah.
Mad Max by way of Bill Sienkiewicz.
Yep.
Page 78. We get a decade of Marvel Star Wars comics as we celebrate with Star Wars: A New Legacy, number 1, by Charles Soule, Kieran Gillen, and Jason Aaron, 3 of the main drivers of said Star Wars comics, along with Ramon Rosanas, Leonard Kirk, and Salva Espin. As we get a whole bunch of Star Wars stories in this one comic here to drive things forward even further.
And a Chrysanthemum variant.
Some of those listening would probably want us to acknowledge that there's actually been more than 1 decade of Marvel Star Wars comics, but this is just 10 years of the latest Marvel ownership of the license.
Right. They're not counting the run from the original trilogy era.
No, definitely not, because Marvel only focuses on the last 10 years of anything anyway, so that's
true.
It really should have just specified, like, a decade of Marvel Star Wars comics, parentheses, since Disney bought them. And, and that
decade with our sister company.
Exactly. That would have clarified things significantly. And further down into it, we get the final issue of the Star Wars Ewoks miniseries by Steve Orlando. The Imperials make their final play against the Ewoks.
Oh, he brought Gorax into it.
Yeah, he did.
Count on Steve Orlando to go there and Shoot for the obscure media tie-in characters.
Gotta love it. Page 82 for that. Good times there. And on we go to the trades. Talk about Alex Ross covers. Page 86 brings us a new printing of the Fantastic Four Omnibus Volume 1, which collects early Fantastic Four issues by Lee and Kirby with a gorgeous recreation of that first issue there by Alex Ross. So good.
If I had the space, the money, that's so beautiful.
Page 86 for that. Collects first 30 issues of Lee and Kirby's Fantastic Four, as well as the very first annual from 1963. And there's also a Fantastic Four Omnibus Volume 6, which collects a whole bunch of the Roy Thomas, Len Wein, Marv Wolfman, Bill Mantlo era, along with some Jerry Conway, Shooter, Archie Goodwin, and others. And even some Jack Kirby while we're at it. So, issues 164 to 203 of Fantastic Four, along with annuals 11 through 13, Marvel 2-in-1 number 20, annual number 1 from 1976, and What If issues 1, 6, and 11, which were all Fantastic Four themed. Volume 1 of Marvel Fanfare, the Omnibus. This is a really cool thing to put an omnibus right here. 1982, the comics industry was making rapid advances. The door to higher quality prestige titles had been opened, and that's where Marvel Fanfare stepped in. This collects the first 19 issues of that, including stories about Captain America, The Thing, and Spider-Man. Mike Mignola involved with
Hidden Gem. Mike Mignola.
Mike Mignola, you're right. Hidden Gem, J.M. DeMatteis. Hidden Gem, Chris Claremont. Tons of other hidden gems as well along the way. So, page 89 fills that in. And let's see if there's anything else of note. Oh, well, you know what? The X-Men by Jed MacKay, Volume 1. I love how they have to specify since it's a Volume 1 of X-Men.
God.
This
You really do have to do.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be on sale in March 2025. This collects the first 7 issues of the restart of the X-Men line by Jed MacKay and Ryan Stegman, available on page 100. So any of you who want to read that, that's available to you. And Spider-Man Reign 2 is now collected in full on page 104. Collects the 5-issue Spider-Man Reign 2 run. And page 105 brings us MYX Volume 1. 107, Scarlet Witch by Steve Orlando Volume 4, collecting the first steps of the restart of the Scarlet Witch series, as well as the Crypt of Shadows one-shot. And this is a modern era epic collection that is well worth checking out. If you have not done so, Young Avengers Modern Era Epic Collection, Not What You Think. Written by Alan Heinberg, penciled by Jim Chung, Andrea DeVito, Michael Gaydos, Neil Adams, Gene Ha, Jay Wee, Bill Sienkiewicz, and Pasquale Ferry. This collects the 12 issues of the 2005 Young Avengers series, as well as the #1 Director's Cut and the Young Avengers special that came out a little while afterwards.
Speaking of a generation's young heroes.
Mm-hmm. Damn right. And also a very important moment for Scott Lang happened in that Young Avengers special. So any of you fans of Avengers action in general, Young Avengers is some of my favorite stuff, and this is where it all started off. On 08. And New Mutants Epic Collection, Fallen Angels, Volume 4 of the New Mutants Epic Collection. This is Chris Claremont and Joe Duffy era New Mutants. Collects issues 45 through 54 of that, as well as the Fallen Angels miniseries in full. All 8 issues of that on page 112. And
modern
Yep, modern epic collection. You're right about that, Raph. the Whedon and Cassidy Astonishing X-Men. This collects issues 13 through 24 of that. So this is volume 2 of that epic collection. And again, with John Cassidy's passing, even more focus on collecting John Cassidy stuff and having it there for everybody to enjoy on page 113. Fantastic Four Grand Design gets a full trade paperback treatment by Tom Scioli and Stan Lee, and Tom Scioli and Jack Kirby. This is a collection that collects issues 1 and 2 of that Fantastic Four Grand Design, and also Fantastic Four issue 51, as that does sort of tie into the whole Grand Design treatment that happened here. So page 115 for that.
Ooh, this one.
Yeah, we'll close off with this for Marvel. Fantastic Four by Wade and Waringo. Easily one of the best Fantastic Four runs, period. And this collects Fantastic Four issues 60 through 66 and Avengers number 400. Started off their run, and it's just absolutely pitch perfect Fantastic Four. Mark Waid's one of the guys who's done it the best, and Mike Waringo's artwork was second to none at that era, along with some Mark Buckingham assistance there from that Avengers issue. Page 116, if you haven't read it, do give it a shot. It's really some of my favorite stuff. And Thunderbolts Winter Soldiers by Jim Zub and Kurt Busiek on page 117. Collects the 2016 Thunderbolts, issues 1 through 12.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, I know. Yep. I think they have a thing. And I think that'll wrap it up for me here in Marvel, unless anybody wants to point out the last couple trades.
Heir of Apocalypse. I think that was the thing that came out of the Krakoan era.
Yes.
I didn't get a chance to read it in single issue, so I'm going to get this.
All right, excellent. That's available on 119. On that same page is also a new printing of Age of Apocalypse Volume 1 Alpha. So classic X-Men alternate universe, good times there.
Oh, so many books, though.
I know. All right, over we go to the Independents. So not a lot from Ablaze or any of that, or Aftershock, unfortunately. So, move forward to... Actually, Ablaze, I'll mention Monster Quest real quick, by Ankaro. The evil wizard Vinius has kidnapped Princess Shalendra, plunging the kingdom of Mystaria into darkness. 4 brave heroes, each of different backgrounds and skills, team up to rescue her and change fate for the better. This is the premise of Monster Quest, a video game from Andreas' early 90s childhood that captures his imagination. Now in his 40s, he longs to share the experience of the game with his daughter Susanna. However, as they dive back into the game, Andres discovers that it's not as he remembers it. The settings and the characters seems to have mysteriously changed. Fascinating premise. Return to video games of old, and an excellent Sega Genesis style cover there to go along with it.
Just had to call us out directly, huh?
Yeah, I know, right?
Early 90s childhood in your 40s. Yeah, just say it. Go out and say it. Go on, come out and say it.
It's true. It's true. But either way, this looks pretty damn awesome. So,
yeah,
okay.
nice references, nice little references. I'll check it out.
Indeed. And the Agent homage variant cover pack, because boy oh boy are there plenty, including Nick Fury and tons of others there on page 180. You want to spend the money on that. This needs to be mentioned for the punny title alone. 182. Pin Apocalypse. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Mix of 50s sci-fi and horror tropes reimagined with a clever twist set in 1950s small-town America. The satirical adventure pits 2 stylish pinup girls against hordes of zombies and aliens. Yeah. That'll do. Andrew Tarasov, Brendan Jones, Pin Apocalypse. 182.
Oh, Walking Dead tribute cover.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And this one's being described as Django Unchained meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer, Volume 1. I think I missed this the first time around, but I'm glad that this is being solicited as a trade. It's Harriet Tubman, and she's slaying some demons. Need I say more? Page 184 for that. Down we go to some further solicitations in the main area. We get
Archie?
Archie is Mr. Justice, issue 2.
Mm-hmm. And let me emphasize again that Archie is in fact not Mr. Justice. He is Pureheart the Powerful. Mr. Justice is a completely different Archie/MLJ character, but what the heck? It's beside the point. It's a mini-series that shows Archie as a superhero of some name, and each issue is by a different creative team, and last month, I believe, was a chance to support Norton. Mm-hmm. But this time, it's another one of our friends doing the artwork, Brent Schoonover.
Yes,
yep.
Yep. Amanda Daybear.
Friends of the show.
Hell yeah. Yep. But, you know, Schoonover is an excellent artist in general, but this whole premise is a lot of fun, and I'm glad to see that they're getting a whole bunch of artists involved to put it forward. So, page 192 for that second 32-page comic available on January 15th. And a Crisis cover on page 193 to go along with it. We'd never see those.
Never.
Never except always.
Exactly. Let's see. Distillery brings us Endeavor on page 198. Stephanie Phillips and Mark Lamming. It's a brand new series from the acclaimed writer Stephanie Phillips. This is from 1768 to 1771. The HMS Endeavor, commanded by the famous Lieutenant James Cook, sailed on a voyage of discovery around Tahiti, New Zealand, and Australia. It didn't end well. Now a modern-day tourism company is offering luxury trip aboard a near-accurate recreation of the ship. For a hefty fee, elite passengers can experience history with all the modern comforts, the vacation of a lifetime, until the unthinkable happens and 7 children are stuck aboard the ship, alone and adrift at sea. Rough seas and rations are the least of their worries as they quickly realize the real enemy is each other. Damn. This is dark, but
sounds like a long road getting from there to here.
Yes, it is. Yes, absolutely. Ward of the Flies and Yellow Jackets, inspired, most definitely, certainly a little bit of almost like a Twilight Zone flair in there as well for good measure. This sounds like it could be some really interesting stuff. Endeavor by Stephanie Phillips on page 198. And the second issue of The City Beneath Your Feet has a very, very bloody cover on page 204. Excuse me, sir, you dropped your head. Please claim it at the counter immediately, please, or we will throw it out. Most other distillery stuff is mid series, but there is a solicitation here for White Boat by Scott Snyder and Francesco Francavilla. This is the collection of White Boat for the very first time on page 210. So that collects their entire distillery miniseries with 2 of the hottest people in the industry. They sure did put a lot of pages of that.
Yes, they did.
Right. And in we go to the rest of the book, beginning with Dark Horse as usual. And Dark Horse is mostly mid-book this month. Not a lot of first issues of note. But there is Frankenstein New World, The Sea of Forever by Mike Mignola and various. So if you're looking for a Mignola Frankenstein story, That's absolutely what you're going to find there on page 229.
At the bottom of that same page, we have a new series called Jump Scare from Cullen Bunn and Danny Luckert. It's about a young woman who has the supernatural ability to conjure any weapon from any horror movie she's ever seen. And she uses it this power to fight criminals and monsters alike.
Well, that's good.
When one Cullen Bunn book ends, another one begins.
Very true. Very true. Once again, on page 229.
On page 230, we've got a new series from James Tynion IV and Steve Fox, writer of the New Champions from Marvel, and art by Piotr Kowalski. It's called Let This One Be a Devil, and it's an account of the Jersey Devil, the folkloric entity that allegedly has haunted the Pine Barrens of southern New Jersey for centuries, and it digs into the closest thing to a real-world history that we have of this most likely fictitious being. But Tynan had to do a little bit of research to write this, let's say that much. And as fond as I am of South Jersey, as much time as I've spent there, I think I like to see some kind of nationally distributed media giving the characters some attention. I will definitely try this book.
Yeah. Well, also, you'd be supporting Naughton.
Would I?
Henry Naughton. That's the name of the character.
Okay. Naughton, right.
Supporting
Naughton.
Exactly. Must support anyone whose name is almost Norton. That's the way to go. Yep, absolutely.
This is the rule under which we live now, huh?
Yep. Page 234 has a trade paperback of Chibi Usagi, Attack of the Heebie Chibis, expanded edition. I just had to point that out because it exists, and it looks cute, and Stan Sakai is the man behind it, along with Julie Sakai.
The heebie-jeebies.
Indeed. And the deluxe edition of Hellsing Volume 9, one of my favorite manga, one of my favorite series, period, getting the deluxe treatment. So any of you who either already like Hellsing by Kota Hirano or have never checked it out, you will find a very pretty way of doing so on page 235. On page 237, the trade paperback of The Writer by Josh Gad with artwork by Ariel Olivetti. Yeah. It's Josh Gad and the Berkowitz brothers teaming up for a thrilling graphic novel of Jewish folklore and magic. The writer plunges readers into the captivating world of Steve Siegel, a renowned comic book writer. Nice combination of names there, whose life spirals into a terrifying adventure beyond the confines of reality. Alongside his mother Liz and daughter Izzy, Stan faces an onslaught of Nazis, demons, and mythical creatures drawn from Jewish folklore as they navigate a landscape steeped in occult mysteries. Their quest for answers reveals hidden identities and ignites a high-stakes race against an emerging terror. This collects all 4 issues of The Writer into one trade paperback, and I need to check this out, as I meant to the first time around. Now here it is in full collection. Kind of sounds a little bit of Cavalier and Clay-y, a little bit of escapist-y, with some nice Jewish folklore thrown in there for good measure. So,
yeah.
237.
Looks interesting.
Indeed. And you got Josh Gad in there.
Oh, wait. Go back up real quick.
Going back up.
Next, one more page.
One more page. Yeah.
The finale of Godzilla's Monster Piece Theater number 3. All right. It's about the combined efforts of Jay Gatsby, Sherlock Holmes, Jules Verne, and the Time Machinist to stop Godzilla's global rampage. And then, they say it in the solicit, but basically they enlist the help of the evil Dracula. So it's Godzilla versus vampires. Because that's something you would have expected at any point in your life.
Oh, I mean, to be fair, I expected it eventually.
Right.
I feel like Godzilla has faced everything else. So
I really, this is the most, yeah, but facing Jay Gatsby is probably the greatest
Oh no,
thing I've ever been sold on. It's so great. I love it.
so yeah, so it is so great, right? That Gatsby's so great. It's so
Yes, he is a great Gatsby.
so great. Yeah. On that same page, by the way, the Godzilla versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers trade paperback by Cullen Bunn. So if you
When one Cullen Bunn book ends, another begins.
damn right, but this one. Did you ever think that Godzilla was going to take on the Power Rangers?
That's actually it's actually much more likely because the creator of Godzilla, the special effects of Godzilla, the 1954 movie, A.G. Super, actually went on to found a studio that created Ultraman. And Ultraman is considered in the same genre as the Gear Ranger, which is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So actually, the chances of the Power Rangers encountering Godzilla are much higher than him encountering something like Frankenstein, Dracula, or the Great Gatsby.
To quote Cher, snap out of it.
But yeah, no, the special effects director of the original Godzilla created Ultraman, and Ultraman is the godfather of that genre of Power Ranger type stuff.
Nice. Well, on page 239, we have a Star Trek Section 31 one-shot from Melissa Wong with Megan Levins on the artwork chores, as this will essentially be a spin-off of the forthcoming Section 31 movie, as this features Philippa Georgiou on a brand new, raucous, and exhilarating adventure. So if you want to get some Section 31 right around the time that the movie is going to wind up coming out, this will be for you on page 239.
I also would like to mention Lower Decks over there because all the issues are standalone issues.
Yes, indeed. Yep. And I haven't gotten a chance to check it out yet. Chris Naudus has the Choose Your Own Adventure Lower Decks book. Apparently, is fantastic, and I need to get my hands on it. It's an old school Choose Your Own Adventure in comic book form, and it's great. So
I think it's on its way to me.
Nice. Speaking of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, oh wait, I wasn't, but I am now. The Best of Nobody one shot by Various, my favorite creator. One of the costumed crime fighters to cross paths with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the mantle of nobody has been worn by few, but always served as a symbol for good and a beacon of allyship to the TMNT. Officer Longer, April O'Neil, Angel Bridge, some of the greatest hits under the cowl of nobody. And that collects Tales of the Ninja Turtles issue 2, Tales of the TMNT number 60, Teenage Ninja Turtles number 34, and material from TMNT Universe number 23.
Future Foundation Spider-Man?
No.
That's Future Foundation. Look at the one, the third one, the one on the right inside the panel. That's Future Foundation Spider-Man.
It absolutely is, but don't tell nobody.
Okay, it's our little secret.
Don't you tell nobody. Okay, all
right, listeners / viewers. That's our thing. We know.
Yeah. What is also our thing is on page 241, and that is an artist edition of Paul Smith's Uncanny X-Men. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh.
As large as you can make the issues 165 to 175, they're making it, and damn, Paul Smith deserves the treatment. It's going to be absolutely beautiful, and it only costs $150. All right, moving on. Page 240. What say we on the West Hollywood Monster Squad by Senna Grace and Bradley Clayton? A group of high schoolers get more than they bargained for when the drag show they're attending is attacked by monsters in this funny YA graphic novel from acclaimed queer comics creator Senna Grace. Yeah, you never want your drag show to be attacked by monsters, and
never. That's horrible.
That'll definitely be more than you bargained for. West Hollywood Monster Squad, a graphic novel, so you get a full story there on page 242 out of Abrams Comics art.
That'd be interesting to bring up in was was it Donovan's topic in the
Mm-hmm.
in the super secret comic timing discussion chat?
You are correct about that. Don't tell nobody. It's secret. Secret. All right.
Speaking of
yeah. Speaking of
Wrong Earth Dead Volume 3 Dead Ringers by friend of the show and regular contributor Jamal Igle.
Indeed. Yep. Tom Pyre on the writing chores. Of course, our favorite Juan Castro on the inking chores for that. Yeah, it's a trade paperback worth getting, as is everything in the Wrong Earth universe.
Yep, agreed. And they're at the bottom of 245, also from Ahoy, a 5-issue miniseries called Howl. Marry a science fiction writer, become science fiction. That's the law of Greenwich Village in the late 1950s, home of poets, artists, musicians, writers, their put-upon partners, and the extraterrestrial spores that are secretly taking them over. Novelist comics writer Alyssa Whitney mixes science fiction with family memoir, featuring stunning art by Maurice of Star Wars Adventures.
Nice.
The title is possibly an oblique Allen Ginsberg reference.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Let's scroll.
I'll check back in a Valiant after Resurgence.
Yeah, probably a good call.
Yeah.
Not a lot going on there outside of that right now. Page 255, though, Aloha Comics brings us Heaven Official's Blessing, Volume 1. This is a manhwa adapted from the hit anime and best-selling novel by Mojiang Tang Shu, featuring breathtaking artwork. This premium hardcover edition in English. Strange events have plagued Mount Yujun for many years. A mysterious demon has been abducting brides on their way to their weddings. At last, the heavens have heard the prayers of the afflicted, and a god who has risen again after 2 demotions is sent to aid the mortals and reclaim his status. However, finding himself on a mountain path, he encounters someone he never anticipated. Heaven Official's Blessing, Volume 1. Happy to bring up a manhwa after all the manga that we tend to bring up on page 255.
I'm pretty sure it's Chinese.
I believe you are.
It is Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
It is Chinese. I just Googled it real quick.
Well, there you go. Page 274, You and I, trade paperback. J. Michael Straczynski, Mike Choi. The Resistance universe returns in a new tale by JMS. This collects the 6-issue miniseries You and I, set in that world with some great artwork there by Mike Choi on page 274. And Ethan Sachs brings us the COVID Chronicles, Volume 1. 10 personal accounts of life and death from the front lines of COVID-19. These true stories from journalist Ethan Sachs are brought to vivid life, originally distributed online by NBC News. These tales of hope amidst devastation are now available in print, fully colored, with behind-the-scenes features. Page 275.
My first one should be coming up soon-ish. It's from Blood Moon Comics.
And there we are.
It's Memoirs from the 20th Century. Number 1 of 5.
20th
And number 2 Sizzle Sid.
Yes, right there on the bottom of the page, page 283.
A woman, unsatisfied with her life, takes a pill that catapults her back to 1999. As she strives to rectify her past, she will unravel a sinister plot and discover that sometimes it's hard to shake your mistakes, even with a do-over. I think these kind of like time travel stories are kind of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's not like, if you kill this person, the entire, it's not like a high stakes thing like Avengers Endgame or whatever. It's just like let me go back in time and fix my mistakes. Oh, wait. Something terrible is going to happen, but it's not like a universe collapsing thing. It's just a story of a person's life.
Exactly. Yeah. I like those as well. All there for you there on page 283. And we get some more timey-wimey while we're at it.
I got one from Comics Experience.
Comics Experience?
Should be down a little more. Oh, Critical Entertainment. There it is. Never mind. It's Critical Entertainment.
There we go.
The First Americans, #1. It seemed really interesting to me. At the end of the Ice Age, 14,000 years ago, and on the verge of starvation, a tribe of Paleo Indians travel across the Bering Land Bridge from Siberia into North America to hunt an elusive pack of mammoths. But when they fail to hunt the beasts, the tribe must adapt to their new surroundings before becoming extinct in this new land. Who doesn't love a little historical fiction,
Yeah.
Very historical.
like ancient history?
Now it says offered again, so I'm assuming this is a resolicit, because it even looks a little bit familiar. Quite.
So what confused me is because I go off DBS, it was listed under Comics Experience Publishing and under Critical Entertainment. So I'm wondering if it wasn't solicited initially from Comics Experience.
Yeah.
So that might be it.
That's possible.
Because yeah.
Yep. Well, either way, it sounds interesting, and it's there for you on page 298 in one form or another.
And right next to it, yeah, I got to give a shout out here to a revival of sorts to one of my favorite non-Big Two superhero properties of the last couple of decades, Big Bang Comics. This is a one-shot graphic novel called Big Bang Comics, and it's kind of a tribute to the Big Bang comics output of the 90s and beyond, mostly put together by Gary Carlson and Chris Ecker, self-publishers, and the creators who worked with them, which gave us characters like Ultiman, the Ultimate Human Being, Night Watchman and Kid Galahad, Protoplasman, Thunder Girl, and so forth. It's just what Alan Moore once called a loving pastiche of everything good about superheroes in decades past. It all seems to be written by the same one person, Michael Troy, with art by a bunch of people, and cover by indie artist Jim Rugg.
Nice.
I do love Rugg.
Yep, haven't heard from Big Bang in a while, and here's 100 pages of new Big Bang stuff featuring Big Bang characters, stories, pinups, and more.
Very cool. And that's out of Cosmic Lion Productions. Once again on page 298. Go further down into the book.
Yeah, my next one's from Difference Engine.
Difference.
Did we?
I think we may have passed
Did
it.
we pass it already? Damn.
That. Yeah. Let's see. Difference Engine. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, right here.
Yep.
Amazing Ash.
It's offered again. Amazing Ash and Superhero Ama, which is about 11-year-old Ash, doesn't have much to look forward to, math tests, a naggy mom, and Ama, who doesn't know much about her. That is until she discovers something that would change her life. Ama is a superhero. The best part is Ash discovers that she has superpowers too. Life is so much more exciting as a superhero in training. However, Ash can't help but notice that Ama sometimes gets a little absent-minded while showing her the ropes. So this is a story about Asian, presumably Chinese, because the Ama means grandmother in Chinese. It's about a grandmother and her in training teenage granddaughter, and it sounds like they deal with they have some fun, like nice little YA superhero story.
Nice. Very cool. And that's a full graphic novel right there. So that's 208 pages of content.
$12.50.
Yeah, that's a damn good price too. Yeah. A lot of good content there. Difference Engine, as you said, on page 299.
Then my next one you're definitely going to recognize. You will just make it so.
Okay. You said make it so. Is it Patrick Stewart?
Yes.
Okay.
From Gallery.
Okay, cool. Page 308. This is a future classic, a breath of fresh air in the shonen genre, reminiscent of legendary manga titles like Naruto, One Piece, or Radiant. At a Fair Square Graphics, this is Red Flower, Volume 1, The Young Rooster and the Sun. Kelly is an impetuous teenager who dreams of only one thing, to undergo the catafoil ritual in order to become a man in the eyes of his tribe. However, the young boy struggles to fully embrace the peace philosophy of his people, as well as the wise counsel of his elders. It is then that Anansi, the sorcerer, has a vision of an apocalypse. The village is going to be invaded by foreigners endowed with mysterious and deadly powers. Members of the clan now face a dilemma: how to defend themselves when the beliefs impose non-violence. Fascinating story here. Excellent artwork to go along with it. Written and drawn by Louis. On page 308, we get Red Flower, Volume 1, The Young Rooster, and the Sun. Page 311, Daisy Goes to the Moon by Rick Geary. In 1919, Victorian author Daisy Ashford published a book she wrote at 9 years old to great success. Now writer Matthew Klickstein and cartoonist Rick Geary have created a delightful graphic novel adaptation in which Daisy goes to outer space, visits the cosmic automat, watches TV with a time traveler, and more. There's rollicking verbal and physical comedy as characters sometimes literally bounce off each other, showcasing elements of Philip K. Dick, Douglas Adams. The book will delight readers as they discover Daisy's playful, madcap space adventures. Daisy,
sounds like fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun there on page 311 out of Fantagraphics. History Comics, Ellis Island graphic novel out of First Second. Always love me a good First Second book. Page 313. Many American
good YA.
Yeah. Many Americans know who can trace their ancestry through Ellis Island. In addition to being part of the world-famous Statue of Liberty National Monument, this small piece of land once housed the main immigration processing center for the U.S., documenting upward of 12 million people between 1892 and 1954. How did it all get started? Discover the storied past of the once great gateway to the United States and the countless people who it continues to inspire. It's available both in softcover and hardcover at the same time on page 313. History Comics, Ellis Island graphic novel.
And there's my next one.
Now You Can Make It So out of Gallery.
Yep. Patrick Stewart, Making It So, a memoir softcover. So this is a softcover version of his the hardcover memoir that he wrote that he released last year. From his acclaimed stage triumphs to his legendary on-screen work, Sir Patrick Stewart has captivated audiences around the world and across multiple generations in a career spanning 6 decades with his indelible command of stage and screen. Whether as Captain Jean-Luc Picard of Star Trek fame, Professor Charles Xavier of Marvel's X-Men hit movie franchise, his more than 40 years as part of the Royal Shakespeare Company, his unforgettable one-man show adapted from Charles Dickens's A Christmas Carol, or his comedic work. Now he presents his stunning memoir, a revealing portrait of a driven artist whose astonishing life, from his humble beginnings in Yorkshire, England, to the heights of Hollywood and worldwide acclaim, proves a story as exuberant, definitive, and enduring as the author himself. So this book should be enjoyed with a cup of tea, Earl Grey, hot.
Most definitely, yes. And I've listened to part of the audiobook version of this on Spotify, and I need to get back to it because I was really enjoying it. And it's a wonderful peek behind the curtain on the life and times of Patrick Stewart, all the way from his youthful beginnings until now. So absolutely worth it for anybody who's a fan of his and wanting to know a little bit more of the man behind the scenes.
If you're interested, make it so.
Yes. Like the title says, page 314. Make it so. All right. No more pointing.
What's Paul Galassi up to?
What is Paul Galassi up to? What do they miss there? A creator you should know. It's just like a comic.
Oh, it's just okay.
Like yeah, one of the highlights. All right.
My next is at Mad Cave, and then I don't have anything else.
Sounds good to me. Page 325. The Twilight Man, Rod Serling and the Birth of Television. Once regarded by the entertainment business as the angry young man of television, fellow Hollywood revolutionary Rod Serling's rise to fame in golden age of television and his descent into his own personal Twilight Zone. Twilight Man, Rod Serling, and the Birth of Television. Available for you on page 325. Very indeed. All right. The greatest name in comics, Daredevil battles Hitler, one shot. Out of Lev Gleason Comic House Archives. Harry Anderson and Charles Burrow are the writer and artists behind this on page 330. Classic story presented here by Lev Gleason with full approval from and royalties to the Charles Burrow family estate for the first time since its initial printing. This issue is a modern reprinting of the complete Daredevil Battles Hitler by Charles Burrow and The Man of Hate by Harry Anderson. The art, presented as close to its initial newsstand appearance as possible, has undertaken a restoration effect. No digital color remastering. This issue was printed on uncoated paper to mimic the original issue stock. Ooh, Shane would love that. With a 12-point gloss card stock cover. So any fans of wonderful smelling paper will very much enjoy this recreation here on page 330 of some classic comic books.
It'll only cost you $14.99 for 64 pages.
Yep.
I mean, the royalties are going to the family, so I don't mind
That is fair.
as much.
That is fair. At the same time, still hefty.
Still kind of crazy, yeah.
What's a little bit better than that? How about paying $18 for a full trade paperback of Flash? Thank you. Jeremy Adams, Will Conrad, Flash Gordon, Volume 1, in trade paperback. Escape from Planet Death.
Yep, some friends of ours have been talking up this series. I think I picked up the first issue but didn't go any further than that, so here's my chance to pick up my own slack.
Indeed. Yep. This collects issues 0 through 5 of the Flash Gordon series on page 332. And then on page 333, the Gatchaman Galactor trade paperback. Steve Orlando writing behind that. That collects the Rival short story from Gatchaman number 0 and the complete 4-issue Gatchaman Galactor miniseries. Now Gatchaman's an ongoing.
Oh, this is
And on
mine.
page 336. Is this what you were going to talk about, Raph?
Yes. Kill Train.
Jinx, I owe you a Coke.
Yep.
Same month, Image is bringing us Blood Train. Now we have Kill Train.
To control the population explosion that nearly crippled the city, New York has instituted Kill Train, a randomized extermination program where designated subway trains are picked at random and all the passengers are slaughtered by the end of the line. In not so distant future, we meet Vanessa, a struggling single mom in the midst of a nervous breakdown, who discovers that she herself is on a kill train. Now, for once in her life and with everything to prove, Vanessa decides she's not going to go down without a fight. Very 70s kind of exploitation. Like, I was thinking about the Warriors too, because a lot of the Warriors is about being on a train.
Oh yeah, I just watched The Warriors the other day. Actually,
Yeah.
It's been like 20 years since I saw it last, so I was like, all right, I gotta do this. But also, ladies and gentlemen, this train is being delayed due to Kill Train ahead of us. We will be moving shortly. Thank you for your patience. God.
You're sitting in the tunnel for 2-3 minutes, not knowing what's going on.
God, man. Oh. But yeah, this is a horrifying concept, and I don't want to be part of it. But it sounds fantastic. So, page 336.
Kill Train.
We call that the J Train now.
Yes.
What were you going to say there, Murd?
It's just an interesting mini trend of train murder comics coming down the
Yes.
tracks here in early 2025.
Lots of trains, lots of deaths.
Well, while we're talking about trains and death and whatnot, how about a Galaxy of Madness? Descent into madness and find the truth. As Mags Visaggio brings us the full 5-issue volume 1 of Galaxy of Madness, set in a far-flung, thrilling future of the 41st century. And on the other side of the galaxy, a swashbuckling space archaeologist, Virgil Virgo, is on the cusp of learning a universe-shattering secret in this 4-color fantasy. But you'll have to dive into the abyss where no human was ever meant to go to do it. The question is, what happens when she emerges from the other side? Woo! Yeah, all right. But either way, this sounds great. And not only is it Mags on the writing, Michael Avon Oming on the artwork. Can't go wrong with that. Page 339 for that. And then a Paul Tobin Mammoth trade paperback on that same page. Page 344 brings us Pantomime by Christopher Sabella. Sabella, that is. And David Stahl. Haley and her brother Max are alone after the mother's death and are sent to Wayfair Academy, a special needs boarding school. Eventually, they find family amongst other deaf children. One night, the group decides to dip their toes into crime. The thrill is too much to leave behind. They soon find out that stealing from the wrong person has its consequences. With no one to turn to but each other, they must make a choice, one where no one comes out the same. Certainly a premise you don't hear every day. A whole bunch of deaf children deciding to do crime, so why not?
Another young adult novel.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Out of Maverick on page 344. Great artwork on the following page. Really well detailed. All right, moving down a little bit further to Cruel Kingdom by Chris Condon, Al Ewing, and Greg Pak. This is a EC book out of Oni with artists Cano, Leo Max, and more. Where once a cruel universe beckoned, now a cruel kingdom shall reign. Oni Press is proud to unveil a spellbinding new chapter in the distinguished legacy of EC. Enter Cruel Kingdom, EC's first ever dark fantasy anthology, conjuring tales of magic, myth, and murder from forbidden realms long before our own, featuring some of the best in the business. Awesome anthology premise here.
How did I miss this?
Yeah, completely.
This is cool.
Really cool. 4-issue mini, continuing the EC legacy. Al Ewing's name on the cover alone has me interested, and very, very different stuff from EC, obviously out of Oni, but still, page 350 for some dark fantasy. Gotta love it.
It does look amazing, but if I'm honest, I'd rather have that nice hardcover sitting on my shelf.
Oh no, that's perfectly fair.
Yeah.
But what about Power Lords, number 1 of 3 by Dennis Culver? This looks incredibly 90s.
Yes.
The legend
in the Cellverse.
Indeed. Yep, in the Nacelverse, as you said. Is it Nacelverse or Nacelliverse?
It's Nacelverse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enter an alien realm beyond imagination as this beloved toy icons return to fuel 2025's most epic galaxy-spanning cosmic adventure. As I get more and more Zach Brannigan as I talk about it. This is obviously based on a toy line. Very, very obviously. And, yeah. Enough said.
Yeah.
Page 353.
Power Lords is a comic, and why can't I have a Visionaries Knights of the Magical Light series to enjoy?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, if the biker mice from Mars are back, I mean, what is standing in the way? I want to know. One nice thing about Power Lords is that the interior art is done by V. Ken Marion, who is a very nice guy.
Yes, indeed.
And a friend of ours, and a talented artist of the Mike Turner School.
100%.
So apparently, Rock the Dwayne Johnson is involved with them too. I think he's producing some whatever future projects they may have with the Nacelle company.
Interesting.
Which I thought was a Star Trek company, like a Star Trek related company, but that's not them.
I guess not.
No, because I don't know if you saw, but there's been these shorts by on YouTube by Otoy. And they were like these incredible like postscripts like Star Trek Generations, and the last one was just released where it's like Captain Kirk welcoming Spock into death. Like, and William Shatner played Kirk for the first time in 30 years.
I did hear about it.
Yeah, it just released yesterday, and I watched it this morning. It's really good. The tech they use is incredible. Like they basically like de-aged him, and they got Darth Maul to play young Captain Kirk.
Go figure. I'll have to check it out. All right. Well, page 360 has Buzz Color Edition. Webster's
Friend of the
first
show.
Yeah, not that Buzz. Ananth Hirsch, artist Tess Stone. Webster's first day of high school goes off the rails when he ends up at a back alley rumble for underground spelling. He's dubbed the Golden Kid, and from that moment on, he's drawn into a world of underground spelling bees where letters fly like shurikens, and defeat is never an option. Thank you. Thank you very much for this. This was first released in 2013, and now it's back in a color edition. I adore this premise.
It's a lot of fun.
Back alley spelling.
Time on the mean streets of competitive spelling myself, so I could get into this. If it were a soft cover, maybe I would. But I'm going to hold out.
I'm
What's
sure
the password? PASSWORD. Got it. Get in.
that's all on page 360 there. I won't spell 360, but you know.
Yeah, it's kind of long.
They made a 3D edition of Incredible Hulk 340. Okay. Universal Galactic Worldwide made a full 3D comic edition.
Polybagged.
Yeah, polybagged with Peter David and Todd McFarlane's Incredible Hulk 340.
Which means you have to buy two, one to open and one to keep intact.
That's how they do it. That's how they get you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Or you don't read it at all and you just keep it in the polybag.
That's so that Death of Superman thing they did a couple of years ago. I thought I ordered two. I only ordered one, and it's killing me. It's killing me. I need to find a second one.
While I shame you privately, Supervillains: The Significance of Evil in Superhero Comics, a comics journalism book by now Tomabeki. Looks interesting, out of Rutgers University Press. Alongside superheroes, supervillains have become one of today's most popular and globally recognized figures. They also are central to superhero storytelling to the extent that the superhero genre cannot survive without supervillains. Going through the likes of Lex Luthor, the Joker, Catwoman, Harley Quinn, Loki, Venom, and more, Supervillains explores themes such as gender and sexuality, disability, and many forms of otherness in relation to the notion of evil as it appears in the superhero genre.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Nice take on it.
I'm gonna have to pick this up.
Indeed. That's there on page 372. And we're just about at tomorrow's. And let's see what they have to offer us this time around. A very interesting looking back issue, I would say. Hey, Mr. issue. Starring the Fantastic Four as Mr. Fantastic, Steve Ditko's Mr. A, the 40th anniversary of Michael T. Gilbert's Mr. Monster, Mr. X, the Teen Titans' Mr. Jupiter, R. Crumb's Mr. Natural, Archie's Mr. Weatherby, a villain history of the cool, cruel Mr. Freeze. I love this.
I've seen weaker gimmicks.
Oh, yeah. And a backup feature featuring Mr. Mister. No, but either way,
take these broken wings.
Yeah,
I'll
learn to fly again. Learn to live so free.
Absolutely. 383 for that back issue 158. And on that same page, there's also a Don Heck, a work of art hardcover. Full biography of Don Heck by John Coates and Don Heck himself, obviously as a cover artist. Page 383. Let's see if there's anything before we hit. Yes, the sexiest issue 0 ever. Written by Tim Seeley, Patton Oswalt, and Sarah Beatty. This is Money Shot, ladies and gentlemen. Garth Grant.
Very subtle.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Take a trip through time from the origins of the intrepid XX explorers to a peek at the.
Sorry.
Here's where you get all caught up before diving into the future with this issue 0 here. Patton's having a lot of fun in comic books right now, I'll tell you.
Yeah, he is. Good for him.
Yep, page 387. And issue 3 of Kid Maroon by Chris Cantwell on this page 388.
What a maroon.
Exactly. That's what he is. And let's head over to the world of manga and try to get at least one or two things worth talking about here. I will say page 407, the Vagabond Definitive Edition. Manga master Takahiko Inoue's legendary tale Vagabond is combined into three. They combined the 3 original volumes into one large trim hardcover in this definitive edition that also includes premium styling like a gold debossed logo and an illustrated belly band featuring art by Takahiko Inoue himself. So any of you who have picked up Vagabond before, or even if you have not, this is one of the classic samurai stories in manga. And it's there for you on page 407. 728 pages for the price of $55.
Or premium hardcover, too.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Oh, this one looks interesting.
Yeah, Tokyo Alien Bros. Or Brothers, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Hilarious feel-good sci-fi comedy following 2 alien brothers and their shenanigans. Shenanigans! I call shenanigans! They get up to around Tokyo as they discover what it means to be human. From the creator of Hirayasumi. So that's what Tokyo Alien Brothers is all about. Actual aliens trying to find out what it's like to be human on page 409.
And they have a Shiba Inu.
Yes, they do. The best way to figure out how to be human.
Yeah, get a dog.
All right.
Excellent advice.
Oh, Pharaoh My Odin was kind of interesting. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but since we're here.
Yeah, might as well.
Oh wait, we brought it up already. We talked about this earlier. Never mind. We're full circle. Yeah. Sorry. My brain's fried.
No, it's fine. Page 412. It's late and we understand. So
yeah.
I'm just gonna do one more and then call it Silence Volume 1. It's about silence, and we're almost over. Out of Abrams, there once was a land where humans and monsters both lived. The sun protected the humans during the day, but at night, the monsters were on the prowl. On the day that the sun disappeared forever behind the clouds, the terrifying monsters no longer wandered off by the sunlight, hunted the humans in the day and the night. For almost 30 years, Saber and his village were cut off from the rest of the world. They have no choice but to communicate with each other using sign language to avoid the monsters, who can track them by sound and especially by voice. This is a quiet place.
Yeah, sure sounds like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Really, really does. And this is Johan Vomier on the writing and artwork chores for this book, Silence Volume 1.
Yeah, fantasy quiet place instead of, sci-fi quiet place.
Exactly. Yeah, essentially. So do check it out on page 421. All right. Any tchotchkes, gentlemen, before we wrap it up?
I'm gonna have to go through it because I don't have my previews yet because my books are still underway.
All right. Sounds good.
Yep. I checked it out, Ian, and nothing spoke to me.
Fantastic. And that's how we call it. Fantastic. Yep. Thank you, gentlemen, once again for a wonderful tonic of the spirit sojourn. And I'm glad that my voice held out because I have no idea why, but it's dry in here and it's messing with me vocals. So, all right. Well, that is that with that for this episode. And we thank everybody once again for being patrons of the show over patreon.com/comic timing. You guys are awesome. And thank you for that. And Raph, remind everybody where they can find you.
I am Raph does stuff everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, X for however long I care to even keep that account open, and TikTok and Twitch. I stream on Twitch usually on Wednesdays. I haven't felt like it the last couple of weeks because of whatever. And but you can find me there. I play games, I watch videos about stuff I like, we chit chat, we have fun. Come join me.
Excellent. Sounds good. And Murd, thank you very much for sticking with us, sir, into technically tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome
My gosh.
from the world of tomorrow.
Shut up, Terry. You can find me at Murdo's Christmas Barn and nowhere else.
Yeah. All right.
Which is a good thing, really.
And occasionally on podcasts. So there you
For
go.
your sanity.
Well, the email address for Comic Timing is comictiming@gmail.com, facebook.com/Comic Timing for the Facebook stuff, and you can find the Comic Timing fan group as well on there as well. Do check us out. We enjoy the community over there. We are no longer on TwitX, or whatever the hell you want to call it. It's over. It's done with. The accounts aren't deleted, but I'm not going there anymore. So you can find me on Bluesky at I Am Sci-Fi. You can find the show at Bluesky as well. Comic Timing is our handle on there. Also, Comic Timing Podcast on Instagram and Comic Timing Podcast on Threads as well. Once again, thank you to Raph, thank you to Murd, and thank you to me for this episode. And as always, there's always time for comics, and there's always time for Godzilla fighting vampires for some reason. What the hell?
Yes, give it to me.